'cause it's sunshine dripping down my face.
Right, welcome to the stream everyone. We're back for Barnsley versus Fulham. So it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. There's pretty much most of the EFL games on right this second. Right, so these are the two lineups. So for Barnsley, we have Sahim Radling, Kavar, Diaby, Anderson, Sibic, Thomas, McGeehan, Moat, Barra, Woodrow and Wilkes. I only know a few of those guys because I don't really watch Barnsley, so I only know Kavar, Moat, B.A. Barra, I don't know how you pronounce his name. So I only know them. On the bench for them, they have Williams, Chaplin, Stoles, Howe, Miller, Fia and Collins. And as for the Fulham lineup, they have Bettinelli in goal, Adoy, Mawson, Lamarchand and Brian in defence, then Johansson, McDonald, Kenny, and then Kamara, Cavallero and Mitrovic at top. And then on the bench you have Cabano, Aite, Rodak, Fonte, Christie, Knockout and De La Tour on the bench. I'm surprised Knockout isn't starting. I thought they put Cavallero left wing, Knockout right wing and Mitro at top. But we'll see how Kamara does today. But Fulham making some brilliant signings. Cavallero from Wolves, Knockout from Brighton. And they'll probably do well too. I think the score will be a 3-1 win to Fulham. I think Fulham will take the lead and then they'll score again to make it 2-0 at half time. Barnsley will get one back and then Fulham will score a late goal to make it 3-1. So that is the teams for this game. We have 18 minutes to kick off, so we're going to run through every other game in the EFL, and also in the chat we will be putting every live score of every other EFL game. So the other games we have Blackburn versus Charlton. Will be a good game. Charlton's first game back in the Championship. I honestly think Blackburn will win, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. Then we have Brentford versus Birmingham. Brentford's one of the favourites to go up to the Prem this season. We'll see how they do. Birmingham, mid-table Championship sides. I think Brentford will probably win, but it'll be a close game, that one, I think. Then we have Millwall versus Preston. I think Millwall are going to struggle this season, but they'll do enough to stay up. But I think Preston will win that one. Simpan is in the stream. He put, do you believe Fulham will bounce back up to the Premier League? I think they will, because they've kept hold of Mitrovic and they also have signed Cavallero and Knockout, who are two brilliant signings, and they'll do well in the Championship. If you watch Wolves in 2017-18 in the Championship, Cavallero was sick for them in the Championship, so I'm sure he'll do the exact same for Fulham. And also the players are getting to know each other more. They've been together for a whole year. Like last year they signed like too many players and they didn't have any chemistry with each other, but now they've played the full year with each other. They'll get used to how each of them players play, and they'll be able to do well this season. I don't think they'll win the league. I think Cardiff will probably win the league, but I think Fulham will challenge them for the title this year. So I do think they'll come back up. Mitrovic is a key player as well they've kept hold of. I'm surprised he didn't go to like a newly promoted side in the Prem or some other team like Burnley or something. But anyway, carry on with the games. We have Reading versus Sheffield Wednesday. I think it'll be like a 0-0 game, not gonna lie. Not same with Stoke QPR. Stoke, have they still got Jack Butland? Is Jack Butland still at Stoke? Oh my god, he is. Why is he still in the Championship? He was like one of the better keepers in the league when they got relegated. But he's still there for some reason. Surprised he hasn't gone to like a decent mid-table side like Palace. Who do you think is going to surprise people in the Championship? I think Luton. I also think Luton. Looking at these teams, I honestly don't know, to be honest. I think Brentford will do well. I think I honestly have no idea, to be honest. Luton will surprise a lot of people. Brentford will do pretty well this season. And I think Preston might honestly be in the top 10 this season and may challenge for a playoff place. I don't think they will get one, but they may honestly challenge for one. I honestly don't know, though, because I don't really watch the Championship enough to be able to know. Swansea City signed Swedish winger. Is a good signing. Well, Swansea's the next game we're going on to, I believe. Who's that Swedish winger? They've still kept a decent amount of players when they were in the Prem. And they did win the FA Cup, and if they just don't focus on the Cup this year, they can definitely do well this Championship season. Is that Borja Baston still there? Selena, ex-City. He did very well against City last season. They kept hold of Nathan Dyer. Van der Horn was there. The one loss for Swansea, though, is Daniel James, who went to United. He's an offensive midfielder, sorry. I don't know who that is, to be honest. Maybe Briars, I don't know. No, it doesn't seem like a Swedish name. I don't know, is he on the bench, maybe? I have no idea. But if they have signed a pretty decent player, Swansea could also push for the playoffs this year. They'll probably beat Hull today, like 2-0. He is on the bench. Probably like Dan the guy, because the other names seem quite like English or Welsh. But anyway, Wigan v Cardiff. Wigan are probably going to get relegated this season. Oh, Pettersson, that makes sense, because there's someone in my school that has Pettersson as their name and they're Swedish. So if he comes off the bench, does well today, he could get some starts. But Selena is also a good offensive midfielder. So we'll see what happens throughout the season with him. But I think Cardiff are just going to destroy Wigan today, not gonna. Let's see who Cardiff have in their team. They still have most of the players, like Mendes Lang scored like 2 goals against United. Everidge is still there. Morrison's still there. They signed Flint from Middlesbrough. Bakuna's there. Rouse is there. Murphy's there. Gary Medine's back in the Championship. Hoylett's on the bench. They have kept loads of their players. The few players that are missing, like Bobby Reed's not there, is he? Don't know where he is. Maybe he's injured or he left. I don't actually know. But Cardiff are probably going to win today. Wigan are going down. They've lost Will Grigg recently. They've lost Walton. They've lost Powell, something, whatever his name is, and Reece James as well. So they're not going to do very well. They're going to come like last. And also Nottingham Forest West Brom. It'll be a tight game. I think I predicted like 2-2 or so yesterday. But welcome to the stream, Josh Taylor. We've got 11 minutes to kick off. We're just going through every other game. What I'm going to do, as the goal's going in every other game, I'm going to put it in the comments. Is Reading winning today or Sheffield? I honestly don't know. I predicted 0-0, but I think Sheffield Wednesday may be able to win. But I think do they even have a manager anymore? Because Steve Bruce or something left. I don't know if they have a manager or not. But anyway, Wimbledon versus Rotherham. I think Rotherham will win. Wimbledon are going to struggle this season to keep in League One. But they did do well in the FA Cup. They beat West Ham 4-2, so maybe they'll do alright mid-table, probably. Then we have Blackpool v Bristol Rovers, probably like 1 or something. Both mid-table sides. Hopefully Blackpool can come up back to the top leagues like they were like a decade ago. And then Burton versus Ipswich. Hopefully Ipswich can come back up to the Championship as well. Lee Bullen manager. Well, they'll probably either win or draw, to be honest. I honestly don't know. But Burton, Ipswich. It'll probably be a close game, that actually. I think it'll be a draw. Barry MK Dons got postponed because Barry are just struggling. Like, they might, like, I don't even know what's happening with them anymore. Same situation with Bolton, but their game's going on today, and honestly, I don't know what's going to happen to them against Wickham. But Coventry Southend, I think Coventry will win. Doncaster Gillingham, Doncaster will probably win. Lincoln v Accrington Stanley. That'll be a close game. Lincoln won League 2 last year, I believe, and Accrington won it the year before. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. I think it'll be a close game. That one probably a draw. And then Shrewsbury, no, I missed one. Peterborough Fleetwood, that'll be a draw probably. And Shrewsbury Portsmouth, I think Portsmouth might be able to win that. And Sunderland Oxford, I think I predicted 2-0 yesterday to Sunderland. And Tranmere Rochdale will be a close game. I think Tranmere might edge it like a 1-0 win, to be honest. Then Wickham Bolton will probably be a win for Wickham because Bolton's just sold pretty much every good player that they had. And let's see their lineup. Who have they actually kept? Some of their players are still there. Like Oztuma was there last year. But they are very low on players, so Bolton, they're going to struggle. They've got a minus 12 point deduction. Same with Barry, so those two are going to be around like the relegation zone. So it may help like teams like Tranmere or Accrington, teams that will be around the bottom of the league, to help them stay up if Bolton and Barry struggle, because there'll be only 2 relegation spots. But anyway, moving on to League 2, we have 7 minutes till kick-off. Let's refresh the thing to see how much viewers we got tuning in. We got 3 people, so not as much as I thought, but hopefully it increases during the game. But anyway, Salford Stevenage finished 2-0. We did a commentary for that. Bradford Cambridge. I think Bradford will come straight back up this season. I think they'll win. Carlisle v Crawley, I think it will be a win for Carlisle, like a 1-0 or 2-1 win. And Colchester, Port Vale, predict a draw. Crewe v Plymouth, I think a draw as well. And Exeter v Macclesfield, I think Exeter will win. Forest Green v Oldham, I think will be a draw. Leyton Orient v Cheltenham, I think will be a draw. Morecambe Grimsby, I'd say a Grimsby win. And Newport Mansfield, that'll be a good game. Both teams were in the playoffs last year and they both got knocked out. I think it would be like a 2-2 draw maybe. And Northampton Walsall, I'd say Northampton win, and then Scunthorpe Swindon a Scunthorpe win. I mean, this is the game we're focusing on today because that's what we're doing commentary on. Those two lineups, we've already showed them. We'll keep them on there until it turns 2:55, and then we'll show the subs. And then we'll look at the news. The referee is Andy Davies, or Davis. The ref for Luton Middlesbrough wasn't that great when I said I don't know if he's good or not, so I'm not going to say that. Hopefully he's a decent ref and makes the game pretty fair. Barnsley return to the Championship and have as many as 10 players who can make their debut, so Barnsley have signed quite a lot of players then. Striker Jacob Brown is missing after being injured in pre-season, and Kenny Dougal is also sidelined after breaking a leg in March. Don't know if those are two. I know Jacob Brown, he came from like Huddersfield or Tottenham, I think. So that's probably going to be a big loss for them if he's out for a long time. So anyway, Fulham relegated last season are set to include high-profile new signings. Caballero and Anthony Knockout. Knockout should be starting. I honestly don't know why he isn't over Kamara. That Ryan Sessegnon and Alfie Mawson, but two of those three are starting. Mawson isn't out because he's in the lineup there, so I don't know what that's on about. And Johansson's there as well, but Sessegnon's out, and that's a big loss for them. Last time he was in the Championship, he won Player of the Year, but in the Premier he wasn't that great. So if he's back in the Championship and can get the form back that he had in the Championship 17-18 season, then he'll do very well, and so will Fulham. But we have 3 minutes to game. As soon as it turns 3 o'clock, we're going to turn the commentary on, and then I'm going to comment every live score as the goals go in the chat. So if you are new to the stream and you want to see more live commentaries, hit the subscribe button so you don't have to search my channel to do it, so you can just find it in the sub box. It'll be so much easier. I have quite a lot of people doing commentary and stuff for Barnsley Fulham, to be honest. There's quite a lot of these streams. Some of them are bots, to be honest. But anyway, 2 minutes to kick off. Match facts. Barnsley have lost their previous 4 league matches against Fulham, having been defeated both matches in the 16-17 and 17-18 seasons in Championship. So Fulham most likely going to win, because that was only like 2 or 3 years ago that they last played in the Championship. Fulham haven't faced Barnsley on the opening day of the season since 1983, 4 losing 3-0 at Oakwell. So Fulham lost 3-0 around, let's say, 35 years ago. Barnsley 4-0 winners over Oxford on the opening day last season. Haven't won an opening day in consecutive seasons in the Football League since doing it in 5 in a row between 1974-75 to 1978-79. Fulham have just one of their past 3 or 13 away league matches in Yorkshire. Their defeat was their most recent visit in a 1-0 reverse at Huddersfield Town last season. Barnsley are yet to lose a home match in any competition under their manager. So that'll be interesting. Will they be able to keep that run? I don't think they will. And Fulham won the fewest away league points of any side in the top 4 English divisions last year, picking up just 5 points in their 19 games. So they only got 1 win last year in the Prem away from home, which probably against like Huddersfield or so, and then 2 draws. But anyway, it's 3 o'clock now. I'm about to put the commentary on. If you are new to the channel, like and subscribe. And the game hasn't even started yet, so I'm going to wait until that changes. So I'm going to put the commentary on, see if it's on.
And Barnsley and Fulham will be hoping to get their campaigns off to a winning start in the Championship when they meet at Oakwell, kicking off at 3 o'clock. Barnsley were second in League One to make an immediate return to the Championship, while Fulham were relegated at the first time of asking from the Premier League. The home side have had a busy summer and had debuts to 6 players, with Radlinger, Diaby, Anderson, Sibok, Wilkes and Thomas all making their first competitive appearances for the side. For Fulham, there's just one new face, with on loan all making their first competitive appearances for the side. For Fulham, there's just one new fixture between and Fulham. It's independent off-tube studio commentary. What should be a good game, I think. Contrasting fortunes for these sides, of course. Last term, Barnsley second in League One, to come up immediately after 1 year away from the Championship. Disappointment though for Fulham, 19th in the Premier League, coming down at the first time of asking. I'm Jack Ogilvie. I'm joined by Rob Eddy. We'll bring Rob in a second. See an early foul there by Cameron McGeehan on Tom Kearney in the middle of the park. McGeehan, one of the few players who's not a new face really for Barnsley. 6 debutants for them today. Radlinger, Diaby, Anderson and Sibok. That's a goalkeeper, and 3 of the back 4, Wilkes and Thomas wide. Their lineup in full: Radlinger, Kavar, Diaby, Anderson and Sibok, McGeehan, Mowat, Thomas, Barra, Wilkes and former Fulham man Cauley Woodrow is going to plough a lone throw up front. Barnsley on the ball. Give you the Fulham lineup in a second as their one debutant. Even Cavaliero just breaks up play in his own half and knocks it back. Bettinelli in goal for them. Just break off as Ampadu Kamara plays it into Mitrovic, wide of the target. Bettinelli in goal, Adoy, Mawson, Lamarchon and Bryan in a back four. Midfield three, the trio really that got them up to the Premier League. It was somewhat discarded last term of McDonald, Kearney and Johansson. Mitrovic up front, Kamara back at the club after a loan spell in Turkey, and Cavaliero, the other wide man. Interesting game. Both sides like to play football, Rob. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, it's a tough one, I reckon. Obviously, Barnsley back in the big town, they'll certainly be up for it. But all these new signings, will they be able to settle first game in the season? Of course, Fulham, it is a pretty settled side. They didn't perform particularly well in the Premier League, particularly on the road. They had an atrocious record, but that's at a higher level. But they've largely kept faith with the same squad. Admittedly, Sessegnon is possibly on his way. Barnsley just on the attack down the left-hand side, and they have won a corner. Good pressing down that left-hand side from Thomas. It might have actually just a double ricochet back off the Barnsley winger, and it will actually be a goal kick, I think. But yeah, I think it's a tough one, first game of the season. You never can tell, but Fulham are second favourites for the title, aren't they? See, they're certainly marginal favourites to win this game. They should be full of confidence.
Yeah, I know football's not played on paper, but they look like they've got a pretty strong 11, a decent bench as well. So I think watch this space as far as Fulham are concerned. Here is Mitrovic, good turn by him. It's wide to Cavaliero down the left-hand side of the Barnsley box. Well played there by Luke Thomas, the £1.2 million signing from Derby. Record signing for the Tykes, just coming across and doing his defensive duties. Looks like he's going to play from the right, Malik Wilkes from the left. We weren't quite sure. We thought they may be on the opposite side so they can cut in, but it looks like Daniel Stennell's gone for width here. Bryan, ball into the box towards the back post. Over everyone though. It looks like it's going to be a Barnsley throw-in on the near side as we look at it in our TV pictures. Independent Off-Tube Studio commentary. 3.5 minutes on the clock. Goalless in this championship game, of course. The championship kicked off with a thriller last night. Luton 3, Middlesbrough 3. From a neutral point of view, I hope we get more of the same, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it could be a pretty open game. We've seen both sort of flanks from either side get involved. Fulham look a little bit more dangerous with, 3.5 minutes on the clock there. Mitrovic has had a sighted goal, admittedly from distance. Not renowned for his scoring from range, perhaps. Well, there was another ball into the box, which is just momentarily hesitation between the two centre-backs. Eventually, Radlinger comes out of his 6-yard box to make the claim, but yeah, I do think in these early stages, Mitten hasn't quite got going yet, but Fulham just look a fraction more dangerous.
Yes, there has been an early goal in the Championship fixtures. 9 today, 8 kicking off at this time. Daniel Batty has put Hull 1-0 up at Swansea. You can also catch the 5:30 kickoff on this service. Nottingham Forest against West Brom. Two more teams hoping for promotion. See, Alex Mowat just fouls Dennis Adoy. Right back today, they play centre-half. Mainly in the promotion season, alternated I suppose last term. Alfie Mawson back. I think he could be a big man for the Cottagers this season. Alfie Mawson got a bad injury, just didn't find his form after joining Swansea. Couldn't do much to keep the Cottagers in the division. Barnsley playing some nice football out from the back here. It's a good play by McGeehan, playing the channels, looking for Collie Woodrow, but he's well shepherded it back to Bettinelli and find his touch around about 6-7 yards inside the Barnsley half. Bettinelli, another one who had a tough season last term, some good performances at England call-up, got a serious knee injury and had to watch on for the stand. Sergio Rico getting the gloves. He's since returned to Sevilla. They still got Fabry amongst the squad. I imagine he'll be on his way out before the transfer window closes. Is Miran Rodak, who is the sub-goalkeeper back from Rotherham today. Alfie Mawson just comes across, clears his lines, throwing to Barnsley around about level with the 6-yard box on the far side. Ooh, almost a bit rusty there from Toby Sibbick. He almost did a foul throw, but no, play on. And it's won well by Stefan Johansson, back with the club following that loan spell with West Brom, but some good scrappy play, good battling from both teams. McGeehan comes up with it for the Tykes, needs an option. Tries to play off a Fulham shirt and out for a throw-in. Wasn't to be though, but he's found Diaby. Diaby forward. Now Thomas can turn. He's got a man inside. It's Barra, the captain. He's well marshalled though by McDonald in the middle of the park. The Marshall just dribbles his way out of a bit of trouble. It's a long ball now, looking for Caballero down the left-hand side. He's got Diaby for company. Mitrovic is in the box. Diaby does well to hold him up. Caballero keeps his feet, still has it. Bryant's overlapping. The Portuguese doesn't want to give the ball away. Eventually finds Kearney. Little ball back to Caballero, leaning back on the half volley over the crossbar. It was a nice move initially. I thought the sting had been taken out of it before Caballero took too much time. But for me, Rob, once he broke inside, got the ball back, he had too much space and was perhaps maybe a bit disappointed with his finish there.
Yeah, I think the pace from Fulham going forward is causing a problem. I thought it was well collected initially, but maybe it just bounced a fraction. The second bounce, it was getting high on him. It wasn't quite a half volley. It was a little bit higher than that, but of course when he struck the ball, his boot was always going upwards and fired it way over the bar. But good play this time down the left-hand side. We've seen the pace from Kamara down the right. And I do think there are goals in this game. Here come Barnsley. It looks a fairly open start.
Yeah, Wilkes tries to find his opposite winger Thomas, and it wasn't the best ball, but it's worked out for the Tykes. Thomas dips inside onto his favoured left foot, and ball couldn't beat the man, and then that's a disappointing play by Cam McGeehan. He's well shackled by Tom Kearney. QPR have gone 1-0 up away at Stokes. It's only away sides at the moment, with Hull also leading at Swansea, goalless in the early stages of our game. Fulham with a throw in the left back area. It's been taken by Joe Bryan. No Ryan Sessegnon this afternoon. The word is he's got a hamstring injury, but there's also, of course, rumours of a move to Tottenham to be completed before Thursday. Fulham just under a bit of pressure at the back there. McDonald heads it up in the air, so does Johansson and Kearney as well. Not great play by them. Mowat picks it up for Barnsley. Reverse ball back to Dimitri Cavert. He's got a man inside him. He's a right-footed left back, so he cuts inside naturally. He'll find McGinn in a bit of space. It's a bit wide on the right-hand side. Just a bit of space there, Toby Sibic, but decided to go backwards to Diaby. Now Mowat got a good left foot on him. Lofts a ball forward, looking for Cauley Woodrow. Far too strong, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, disappointing in the end, but good possession play at least. Down the left and the right, they're trying to stretch the Fulham rear guard, which of course was exposed so many times last season. Alfie Mawson's back in the mix, had a lot of injury problems in the Premier League. Now obviously this is a step down, of course, Barnsley coming up from League One, but yeah, I like the intent anyway of Barnsley so far. Certainly I'd still think Fulham going forward look a bit more lively, and obviously they've created that clear-cut chance for Cavallero, Mitrovic from range, so that they're actually getting an end product at the moment, Fulham, whereas Barnsley are not.
Yeah, well, Fulham have won the last 4 meetings between these sides, but it's Barnsley on the break. Thomas has got a bit of space, well played by Joe Bryan coming back. There's a bit of a nervous glance towards the referee, Jared Gillet, but it was a fine challenge by Bryan, and Fulham can clear their lines. A free kick to them, 30 yards or so from goal. Thomas, I just thought he hesitated a bit there, Rob. Good challenge by Bryan. Yeah,
it's 2-on-2. I mean, they could have really tested that Fulham 2. A mistake in the middle of the park, and they were a little bit exposed. But Barnsley, I think, a little bit more deliberate in their approach play than Fulham. Fulham quite direct. They want to use the pace, the space that's there, and get Kamara and Cavallero running into it to provide the opportunities. But I think Barnsley just thinking a little bit more about that final ball, and it's allowing Fulham to get back and make the challenges. Obviously, at the moment, they're defending their lines, Barnsley, with possession from a throw-in, but they're deep inside their own half. 10 minutes gone. I think a decent enough start from both sides' viewpoints. I'd still think Fulham look a little bit more penetrating.
Yeah, it wasn't a very sympathetic back pass there from Dennis Doit, bouncing towards Marcus Bettinelli, but he did well to clear his lines under pressure from Cauley Woodrow. Good clearance as well. It went all the way to opposite number, Sammy Radlinger. 6 debutants for Barnsley. Cleared forward by Sibic. Bit of head tennis in the middle of the park, then Bryan lofts it forward looking for Mitrovic, but Sibic's got good pace. Play it back to his goalkeeper, who has to be careful, and very, very calmly finds Diaby. He now has to be careful, not the best ball back to Mads Andersen, but the Dane just sweeps a lovely ball wide to Kavar, and he'll bring it forward. The Guadeloupe international just inside Fulham territory. Reverse pass is a good one. Collie Woodrow couldn't take it in his stride. In fact, it was Mike Bauer who stepped over the ball, but impressed so far by Barnsley, the way they play out from the back. You just wonder, can they get that bit of quality in the final third?
Yeah, I think they get into the final third quite nicely, but then it's kind of breaking down. But not afraid to play the passing game under a little bit of pressure. Obviously, there's generally 3, maybe even 4 attackers from a Fulham viewpoint trying to force a mistake, but they've worked it into space. But it is that final third that it's kind of breaking down at the moment. So they're probably just shading possession at the moment, Barnsley.
Yeah, here is Malik Wilkes. Will he go for goal? He strikes a decent effort as well. Just beats the upright. Marcus Bettinelli scrambling there. Yeah,
great strike in terms of power, but he just cut across it. It was always arcing away. If it wasn't on target, he never quite felt it was going to actually test the keeper. But it's certainly hit with vicious power. And that's only just maybe a foot the wrong side of the post. All of a sudden, they're looking more lively.
Decent start to the game at Oakwell. It remains a goalless so far, but Barnsley are playing some nice football for a team with 6 debutants. They're certainly already finding their groove. Fulham, for their part, looking a bit sluggish. They have played some good football themselves. Even Caballero had a nice chance, well played by Tom Kearney. Caballero dogged work down the left-hand side. Kearney's little ball back to the Portuguese, who found a bit of space, but he was off balance as he struck it over the crossbar. We've just seen the best effort of the game so far. Malik Wilkes striking from distance. He beat Bettinelli, but he also beat the post. 0-0 as Thomas comes forward, strikes, goal, 1-0. Barnsley 1-0 up against Fulham.
Yeah, it's a brilliant goal in the end. Poor from a defensive viewpoint. I think Brian's just absolutely lost his footing and has ended up on the floor. Lamarchan's got a problem as well. But once the defence was exposed, he had options and maybe even gave the keeper the eyes, because the keeper, Bettinelli's got something on it, but it's found the back of it. It's only 6-7 yards out. It's poor defending, but good work from Thomas. And they do have the lead. Fulham might be a little bit upset because Lamarchan, in the build-up to that attack, is down wanting an injury timeout, if you like.
Barnsley have taken the lead at home against Fulham. 1-0 to the Tykes. Is Luke Thomas a record scorer, one of these 6 debutants who's got the goal, firing in from the near post. The Tykes took advantage of a gap in the Fulham defence. Maxime Lamarchan went down in the build-up, claiming to have been caught in the small of the back. He looked in some pain, the Frenchman, but Barnsley played on. The referee, Jarry Gillet, said that was okay. Found Thomas, who did the goalkeeper with his eyes. We're seeing Lamarchan now receiving a bit of treatment, but Thomas, it was a fine finish. Mawson didn't close him down, neither did the goalkeeper. Barnsley 1-0 up. Just had a good effort from Malik Wilkes, and I'd say deserved to be ahead.
Yeah, maybe Fulham had the better of the opening 5-6 minutes or so, but Barnsley getting on top. I mean, it's a horror show, really. How is Mawson backing off inside the 6-yard box, letting him shoot? He didn't have an option to pass to, and Mawson's still backing off. It's crazy, really. But Scott Parker's side will have to try and deal with it. Lamarchan, not sure if he's actually come back on the pitch, got a little bit of treatment. He was just down on the deck in the build-up to that goal. He's just come back on the field of play now. So they were down to 10, but still, Brian's got to do better. Mawson's got to do better. Maybe even the keeper's got to do better. But Barnsley did not care one jot. Thomas, he was imploring support to come for him, wasn't he? And sticking out his hands. Nobody closed him down. He's inside the 6-yard box. OK, I'll shoot then, guys.
Well, I think one of Bettinelli or Mawson's got to take command of that situation. Having the ball, I'm not quite sure if it was a foul on Lamarchan, but even so, the ball travels 40 yards if our Fulham player getting anywhere near it. Both Mawson and Bettinelli backing off. Here is Kamara down on the right hand side. A little bit of skill inside, but defender there's got too much for him. Mads Andersen. And Gavard just sweeps up. That's a bit of a shock to Fulham. They were the better side earlier on, but Barnsley have really come into the game. Here is Tom Kearney, 25 yards out. Plays it towards Mitrovic more than anything, off the back of the big Serb striker. And now Lamarchan, there's a foul actually in back play. Chance for Barnsley to clear their lines. 15 and a half gone. Tykes 1, Cottages 0. We're seeing a replay again. Mawson, he just invites the striker to shoot there, doesn't he? He's kind of pointing. Thomas is pointing where he wants one of his teammates to go, and Mawson's pointing there as well, rather than going towards the ball. and gives him the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, anything could happen with a pass, although there could be another opportunity for Barnsley here, just on the edge of the box. There's another slip, and a shot comes in. This time Bettinelli saves it. Decent strike in the end from Barre up there, but it's a slip this time from...
Yeah, it was a well done, Mike Barrow, with some nice skill on the edge of the box, but yeah, Scott Parker will not be happy at all, you imagine, after that first goal. Poor play. It gets worse every replay you see as Kevin McDonald now strides out of the midfield. He'll find Kamara on the right hand side. Boubacar Kamara tries to switch the play, touch ambitious maybe, blocked by Malik Wilkes, but Kearney picks up the seconds. Then there's a bit of head tennis in the middle of the park, and well, eventually Barnsley come away with it. This is a confident start to the game. Here is Mowat, wide to Wilkes. It's behind them, the two former Leedsmen linking up there. Wilkes, it was behind him, but he rescued it. He's got the wrong side of Adoy. Adoy, those just about got back. Corner kick. I think he wanted a goal kick or a foul or something like that, Adoy. Or maybe it was just frustration. The sluggish team defending, I suppose, the Cottagers at the moment. Yeah,
that could be an interesting battle, that Adoy against Wilkes. I thought he certainly looked sharp pace-wise, and he might have the advantage there, Wilkes, but he tried to drop this shoulder. Adoy had actually read it quite well and is forced to put it behind for a corner, but one-on-one battle all game. That could be interesting. Wilkes, I think, will get his fair share of chances to beat his man.
Yeah, so do I. Looks a lot more comfortable on the left-hand side. Saw him a few times with Doncaster last term on the right. A bit predictable, I have to say, but looks better going outside the man. Ball into the box. Mitrovic it is all the way back there. Nodding it out for a throw-in on the far side, but the danger hasn't abated yet. It's taken quickly to Sibic. Thomas gets it back, and there's a clear foul. Are they going to take it quickly? No, I think quite rightly. Fulham just slowing themselves down, getting a bit of composure into their game. Just in a replay of that Barra chance, there was maybe talk of a foul in the build-up, but Jared Gillette didn't think so. As the Cottagers try and play the way out from the back. Adoy looks down the line, thinks better of it, goes back inside to Mawson. Mawson switches the player, good ball as well to Joe Bryant. Bryant had a decent season in the Premier League, first time round, seems to improve with every game. As McDonald, Fulham playing from deep, it's good pressing from Barnsley. Fulham need an answer. That's a poor ball headed down by Kavar, and here he comes. It's Malik Wilkes on the left hand side. He's got Kamara behind him, plays it early into Coley Woodrow, trying to find Thomas on that far side. It's away by the Marshall now. Foot race between Mitrovic and Diaby, but Diaby's too good for him. He's going to get away from him as well. Great play by the Barnsley man. He wants it back. Good play by the defender, and as I say that, plays it inside, gives it away. Caballero, switch of play. That's a foul. Advantage being played. Kamara down the right edge of the box. Goes down under a challenge from Kavar. Shoulder to shoulder for me. And for Kamara, I have to say, has earned a bit of a reputation in the past. I thought it was shoulder to shoulder there, Rob. Not a penalty.
Yeah, it looked too soft to me. I mean, there was a bit of contact, but he was just waiting for that contact. I don't think he was confident that he was actually going to get around his man there, and as soon as a little touch, he went down. I'm with the referee on that one, but that's not to say there wasn't any contact, as Brian's just caught on the other side of the pitch. This will be an opportunity. Thomas, the goal scorer, actually is the man who's also gone down. Might have been just a clatter of shins together. He just leaned into Kamara. We've seen a replay of the incident moments before, and Kamara's just collapsed. So yeah, I'm with the referee. No free kick, but no penalty rather. But this could be a good free kick, isn't it? It's a very sort of attacking position out on the left flank. Could be an opportunity to sort of load the box, see what happens.
Yeah, he was almost braced himself for the contact there, wasn't he? Kamara, back from that spell in Turkey, seemed to fall out with everyone last season, but obviously plenty of water under the bridge, and back on side today for Fulham down the right hand side of their attack. And well, Thomas is struggling a bit here. They seem to be trying to extend his left leg around about the knee, and this will be a worry for the Tykes. £1.2 million Thomas bought for, and the goal scorer here, but it doesn't look good for him, does it, Rob?
No, he looks in a bit of pain. He was the one making the challenge to concede the foul, of course. I thought it might have been shin and chin. It could have been knee to knee. Although the way the physio is dealing with it, I don't think it's as simple as an impact injury. But obviously this could be problems for Barnsley. An early substitution maybe. Barnsley, the only home side, are actually in front. Birmingham have gone in front at Brentford, and Cardiff now lead at Wigan. So there are 4 away sides leading, 3 stalemates at the moment. And Barnsley, the only side, home side with the advantage. But they are defending here. A free kick in a pretty decent position. I think Thomas has gone off the field for a treatment, so Barnsley down to 10.
Yeah, Mawson, Adoy, Mitrovic, all flirting with the edge over the box. Kearney's there as well. McDonald's no slouch in the air. Bryant plays an awful ball, really. Low driven, and now he's given away because Thomas is back, and he's back and firing as well. He'll have a run. Him one-on-one with Lamarchon. There is a man getting back. It's Bryant as well. Thomas holds the ball up. He's in the Fulham box. Gets it back to Barra. Now a little reverse ball by Mowat. Just enough on it by Adoy. Back past to Bettinelli. But look at 6 and 7s on the counter-attack to Fulham. Barnsley still leading 1-0 in the game at Oakwell, and a good value for it at the moment. Fulham look really slack when defending on the counter-attack. There's no real shape for them defensively. They did have a penalty shout. Ababu Kamara going down under pressure from Dimitri Kavar. If I'm honest, I thought he took the challenge and didn't really have the confidence to go past his man. No penalty for me. Up the other end, Mike Barra had a decent effort. Good quick feet from the German on the edge of the box. Shifted it from right to left. Shot towards goal. A comfortable save, though, for Marcus Bettinelli. Bit of a worry, really, I suppose, for Luke Thomas. He had a knee problem, the goal scorer, but seems to be back on the pitch. And, well, Barnes looking comfortable at the moment. And as I say that, we have gone past the halfway point of this first half. Seems a perfect chance with Barnsley having a free kick inside Fulham territory to hand over to Rob, who takes through to the break.
Yeah, cheers, Jack. Fulham's defence not improving from last season thus far, anyway. As it's that free kick from near the halfway line is just angled beyond the 18-yard box. They've done well to actually keep it in, but it's only to Fulham's benefit as they try and break out through Caballero. He's happy to win the throw-in on the halfway line, but Fulham haven't quite recovered from going behind. They look a little bit rattled, perhaps a little bit too desperate to get it forward. The defence looks in bad shape at the moment. We've talked about the goal, obviously, but there have been other instances as well where Barnsley might be fancying a second goal, maybe even a third at the moment. But they're good value for the 1-goal advantage, probably in the ascendancy possession-wise. I don't think territory's been that much in it, but Barnsley just seem to win the ball back fairly quickly. Fulham struggling, although Wilkes is dispossessed this time, and Fulham have it back, working it to the halfway line, and Kearney, but trying to work those close triangles. It's not working. They're just outnumbered in the end, and it's with McGeehan for Barnsley out to the right, and Thomas jinks past one, but then offloads beyond McGeehan. So Barnsley retreating momentarily, playing their football, happy just to find a teammate, even with white shirts in close attendance. Full of confidence, it would appear at the moment, as Radlinger comes out of his area. Works it out to the left-hand side, and Wilkes popping up in a central position. Now found Woodrow out to the left, back to the halfway line, and Cavari. And Fulham Barnsley go across to the right with Diaby feeding it down that channel for Civic to have a run. No, pass is back towards McGeehan, halfway inside the Fulham half. A diagonal ball into the box looking for Wilkes. It was just behind and probably about chest height, so he's jumping, couldn't quite control it on the turn, and that's going to go behind for a goal kick.
Look, a good team, don't they, Barnsley, at the moment, knocking the ball around really nicely. Of course, they'll be confident having come up from League One last term, but a number of new faces. But they look a well-coached team, look a better team than Fulham for me, who I've got down as one of the favourites for promotion, but they simply can't get out of first gear at the moment.
Yeah, struggling to get Mitrovic involved, and although Caballero and Kamara showed they might have the pace to great opportunities in the early stages, Barnsley just bossing possession at the moment. They're looking the more likely. Still in possession, but deep inside their own half, and the triangle's involving the keeper as well. Eventually he clears his lines up to the halfway line. Brian wins the header over Thomas, but can only find McGeehan, and the Tykes back in possession. Now it's with Woodrow just dropping a little bit deeper to set things going. It's 5 on 5 at the moment. It's with Wilkes. Shot comes in, it's blocked, comes back to him, snapshot on the right foot. Not quite as confident perhaps on the right hand side. He's dragged it well wide of the near post.
Yeah, Malik Wilkes is in the action at the moment. Again, it was a nice move. Barra finding space in front of the Fulham back four. No one closing him down. They need to start putting pressure on the ball. Wilkes' first effort was blocked by Adoy. Second time around, dragged it wide on his weaker right foot. But there just seems to be a lack of urgency for Fulham. There's no one pressing the ball. You'd think that'd be McDonald's job in the middle of the park. They were known for the high pressing under Slavica Jukanovic, but it's lethargic at the moment.
They're struggling to stamp their authority on this game, or their authority as one of the outright favourites for the title. Obviously it's Leeds who are actually the market leaders in that regards. They're not playing till tomorrow, of course, but Fulham under pressure in their opener away from home. 27 minutes gone, they're 1-0 down to Barnsley, full of confidence on their return to the Championship. And they're one-touch stuff, everybody getting involved. Now's a bit of space, and they thread it down the right channel, looking for the goal scorer Thomas. This time the run is trapped by Brian, and out comes Bettinelli as well, sliding towards the edge of his box to make the claim. But Barnsley on that front foot again, and they're asking all the questions at the moment. This is a former League One side last season against the Premiership side, but defence was certainly a worry for the Cottagers last season.
They were pretty woeful at the back, weren't they? They tried a number of combinations, back four, back three, back five, nothing seemed to work. They did switch more to a back four under Scott Parker, and I think that's why he's gone with this shape. It was the shape that worked for them in the Championship last time around, but it ain't working at the moment.
They do have a little bit of possession, but the layoff from Mitrovic not good enough, and Barnsley win it back as McGeehan tries to find Thomas towards the halfway line. He's out muscled, but then so is McDonald, and it's now 2-on-2. Ball played in towards the box, forced a little bit wide. Shot comes in, decent strike. They couldn't quite keep it down, and it's over the near upright. Corley Woodrow it is with the effort. But that's not a bad effort at all, and I'm sure Bettinelli's got it covered if it had been on target.
Yeah, he strikes it very well. Bettinelli was tracking towards that near post, but again, there's no pressure on the ball in the middle of the park from Fulham. In contrast, Barnsley, every time Fulham have a chance to play out from the back, they're pushing 3 or 4 bodies up. They want to play out from the back, Fulham. Barnsley aren't letting them do it, and then they seem to get caught. Numbers game in the end. Barnsley is pushing forward almost at will. And Daniel Stendel's winning the tactical battle.
Yeah, different. Opportunity for a Barnsley to test them out with a free kick. Haven't seen too many balls threatened from set piece situations directly. It's maybe 30-35 yards from the corner flag, but it's literally on the touchline. So make of that what you will. Another Wayside's gone in front actually in the Championship. Sheffield Wednesday 1-0 up at Reading. Millwall and Blackburn the other 2 home sides that aren't losing. Barnsley, of course, the only side in front, looking to double their advantage with about half an hour played. Ball is looped into the box, but it's just too high for the outfield players. Easy claim for Bettinelli, and he tries to set for Fulham going with a rollout pass, although Kenny has to turn away from traffic to buy himself a bit of time, which is something that Fulham players have not had time.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very good by Barnsley. There's plenty of praise the way they've gone about the task so far in this opening half an hour. A lot of pressing and making Fulham's life a bit difficult, it's fair to say. Just saw, I think Cyrus Christie was stripped and ready to come on there, Rob. Maybe there's a Le Marchand, maybe the problem, having been potentially fouled in the build-up to the goal.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one with beyond half an hour play. Barnsley 1-0 up. Le Marchand is now in focus as well. He's, of course, the one that might be injured. But he's still on the field of play, and Barnsley haven't been able to expose any defects at the moment physically from Le Marchand, who gets involved in a little one-touch move with Kearney, and then because it breaks down, Le Marchand's dived into a challenge. He's going to be penalised, and it might even be a yellow card coming out. I'm not sure he did Kearney any favours with a one-touch pass, but the return ball wasn't much better, and then there was a fight for the ball, and maybe Le Marchand's tackle a little bit too aggressive for the referee.
Yeah, I think Cam McKeon's come off second best in that one. They both went in. Le Marchand over the ball, though. Yellow card for the Frenchman, who's going to get a ticking off as well for his trouble. It was a poor pass by him initially. He's not moving well at all, Le Marchand, at the moment. Won't be surprised if they do make that change. Just seeing it again. The first touch is poor. Kearney tries to win the ball. McGeehan gets there, and it's just over the ball. I think off the ground, everything wrong, and that is the end of Le Marchand's afternoon already. He's going to go off. Yellow carded. Looks like he's got a back problem. And if Cyrus Christie is the man to come on, just seeing a replay of that incident in the lead up to the goal, he did land quite awkwardly. Yeah, Christie comes on. So Doyle going to centre half and Christie right back, you'd think.
Yeah, Christie on in his place then. Doyle looks like he might be relieved actually. It looks like he might have his work cut out if he's one-on-one with Malik Wilkes all game, but he gets switched inside. It's suddenly Christie's problem. But Fulham just need to settle down a little bit if they want to turn things around. Certainly before the break, because time is of course running out in that regard. There's still about 12 minutes or so to go to the interval, but they're just second best in all departments at the moment to the Tykes. They've got a free kick just outside the centre circle in the Fulham half. Not sure that's a one-man wall or just Kamara not really interested in retreating. Wilkes is in focus. He's playing in a pretty central position at the moment, and Barnsley actually feed it out to the right hand side and trying to work it with Thomas and Sibic. Actually decent defender on that occasion from Brian. It's cleared the ball back into Barnsley territory, and they will have to begin again, but they've certainly not been afraid to do that as they knock it around. They are going backwards with Anderson closed down by Kamara. Decides to go back to Radlinger, who launches a diagonal out towards the right hand side. It won't reach Thomas on this occasion as Brian finds Mitrovic flick out to the left hand side. Early crossing, it's too early. It was poorly executed as well. Sliced a little bit Johansson, and that's simply through to the keeper, and a very comfortable claim from him under no pressure whatsoever. Can tell you there's another home side leading. Millwall have gone in front at home to Preston. So that's two home sides with the advantage. Barnsley being one of them. As another diagonal from left to right is just a little bit too heavy for Thomas. That goes into touch. Throwing his Fulham's.
Barnsley still leading 1-0 in the game at Oakwell, and the good value for it as well. Fulham looks second best all over the park. Barnsley's pressing is really catching them out, and Fulham for their part play with no urgency when Barnsley have the ball. The Tykes coming forward at will. Malik Wilkes is looking dangerous down the left hand side. He's had a double effort go wide. There's also a nice effort for former Fulham man Corley Woodrow as he shot wide, but again there's no pressure on the ball. Mike Barr has just gone over the bar from the edge of the box, and like I say, it's going from bad to worse for Fulham. Maxi Le Marchand's had to go off. He's just been booked for a poor challenge on Cam McGeehan. He's had to go off with a back problem, replaced by Cyrus Christie.
Yeah, a little bit of fortune in the build-up to that last Barre chance. So he was trying to just feed it to his left, and Woodrow, but it ricocheted off the heels of Mawson, came back to. It's good position. He'll be disappointed he didn't hit the target. Just in the D. Very central position, could have gone either side. He actually went for pure power and just couldn't quite keep it down. Fulham are struggling to get the ball back. Not many fans in the stand behind that goal, and Scott Parker, I wouldn't say he looks quite miserable yet, but he's got one or two issues to sort out. His number two is certainly getting some instructions out there into the middle. He looks fairly relaxed actually from a closer up angle. Still a long time to go in this game with just a shade under 10 minutes to go to the break. Might be a little bit more with injury time. Le Marchand's had a knock, as has Thomas. And Fulham have just won a free kick, again out on the left touchline, only just inside the Barnsley half, and they're not bothering sending people up. They're just going to get the ball rolling again, going back to Adoy and Mawson in the centre circle, and Adoy clips it forward, and it could just work through, and another player goes down in the box, tried to chest it into his own path. He might have just got a little nudge from Diaby, no penalty, but the clearance wasn't great from Barnsley, and it's worked quickly by Fulham out to the right hand side. Kamara taking on his man, lucky to get a little nutmeg, then the cross is overhit. Again, it seems a little bit rushed from a Fulham viewpoint. It was Sibic, not Diaby, with that challenge. He didn't look a penalty to me, though.
No, not for me either. Similar to the Kamara incident, where he seems to be waiting for the challenge. You need to get Kamara and Caballero into this game, because that will allow Mitrovic to have more say on proceedings. At the moment, being well marshalled, those two wide men for Fulham by Sibic and Cavare. And pretty much summing the game up so far, Caballero and Kamara second best of the men, as Fulham all over the pitch.
Yeah, time running out at the end of this first half. Here come Barnsley again, and it's a decent strong run from Barre approaching the halfway line, eventually brought down by Adoy. There'll be another free kick to the Tykes. Obviously not in a particularly attacking position at the moment, but yellow cards might start coming out, with fouls being regularly committed, particularly by the men in white. Free kick is worked short. McGeehan's found a little bit of space for his skipper. Now the overlapping run towards Sibic. The pass is just slightly under hit, and it's cleared into touch by Brian. Sibic had an opportunity there, had the pass to him been better, but it is still a throw in maybe 10 yards from the corner flag right hand side. Sibic will trot across to take it. I think Barre wanted to take a quick one. Nice little 1-2. Again, doesn't quite come off, and in fact Sibic was offside, so it wouldn't have counted anyway. But trying to get involved in advanced positions now. They're certainly playing with a bit of confidence, are the Tykes, leading by a goal to nil.
Yeah, absolutely. They look at the old cliche of, you'd think they played in the Premier League last term, the way that Fulham are playing, they just can't get going, and the Tykes are moving the ball with real purpose. They're quite exciting to watch. It's interesting. I wasn't quite knowing what to expect with so many new faces for Barnsley, but they look a pretty good unit already.
Yeah, but Fulham have actually started relatively positively, quickly on the back foot, can't get anything going. The midfield started with possession. We haven't seen Cavallero, Mitrovic and Kamara in any kind of action of late, other than perhaps retreating to try and defend set pieces. Christie's getting his first involvement in an attacking sense, charging down the right hand side. Got a little bit of a nudge from Wilkes outside the box, went down. It's probably more a hand in the back than shoulder to shoulder, and the flag from the linesman went up, suggesting it was a free kick. Kamara, I might say, is not too much different between that and the penalty claimer has.
I thought there was a bit more intent there from Wilkes. Christie's going at full pelt, and Wilkes just runs across and gives him a bit of a nudge with his arm as well, knocks him off balance. For me, it is the right call, and this is a good opportunity here for Fulham.
Yes, Adoy's come up, as have Mawson, but Barnsley trying to keep a line outside the box. Delivery is deep towards the far post, and it's headed towards goal, just over the bar in the end. Couldn't quite keep it down, Adoy, and that looked to be a free header. He's disappointed that he couldn't hit the target, and maybe Barnsley, that's a wake-up call. Maybe so. Just seeing it again, he gets the wrong side. I think it's Diaby at the back post. Great ball in by Caballero, really making the goalkeeper think. Didn't want to come for it, and it was a good opportunity for Adoy, and should have hit the target. Taken the goal kick short, but Fulham have kept 5 players up there, so in the end it's a hurried clearance by Radlinger. Good control though from Wilkes on the halfway line, then he's dragged down, and it will be a free kick. McDonald, the guilty party this time, he's picked up the ball and walked away with it, remonstrating I think with his defenders there, but good control from Wilkes. Wins his side of free kick on the halfway line to the left of the centre circle. Wilkes is actually pretty slow to get up, but I don't think he's in particular pain. Might just be thinking that's another foul, referee, against me. There's a ball to Wilkes if Barnsley spot it quick enough. They did get on the left channel for Woodrow. Forced a little bit towards the corner flag, but he has possession. And Cavare's up in support. Infield to McGeehan. Worked a little 1-2. Shot comes in from about 30 yards out. Lacking the power to trouble Bettinelli. It's also lacking the direction. Dragged wide of the far post.
Heading towards half-time, Barnsley still 1-0 up at home to Fulham, but Fulham have just had a great chance through Dennis Adoy. It was a free kick wide on the right-hand side. Even Caballero took it, an outswinger. The goalkeeper did not want to come. It was towards the back post. There was Dennis Adoy, who's now switched to centre-half following Lamarchon's replacement by Cyrus Christie due to injury. And it was free header over the crossbar. Should have done better. Cam McGeehan just tried his luck from distance for Barnsley, but they are still on top. Fulham struggling at the moment. Malik Wilkes, the best player on the pitch. Looks like it will be the Tykes heading in to the break 1-0 up.
Yeah, they had a goal kick there, Fulham. They wanted to play it short, like Fulham had done at the other end. Barnsley kept 4 or 5 defenders up, and then having taken it short, it's just hooked into touch by Bettinelli. The throw-ins actually come to nothing, and Fulham have it back, but I'm not sure Scott Parker will be wanting to see his side play like that, as it's fed out towards Kamara on the right hand side, but it's beyond him. He can't control it, and it'll run away into touch with about 3 minutes to go to the break. Barnsley 1-0 up. I have to say the keepers haven't been forced into too much action, but Barnsley have had more efforts at goal. Adoy with the most recent actually from that free kick out on the right for Fulham. Arguably should have hit the target but didn't, and they still trail by a goal to nil. Again Wilkes is fired, this time by Adoy, and Wilkes is arguably making a referee call because he picked up the ball. Adoy didn't like that and thought he's got a free kick for handball, but it is a free kick against Adoy.
I thought it was going to be handball against Wilkes there, the way he grabbed the ball and the referee kind of jetted over. I didn't seem to be too much in it. I thought he went down a bit easily, grabbed the ball. I thought it was going to be a Fulham ball instead, but a Barnsley free kick. There's not too many options for Dimitri Cavet, but again, as they have done all half, just calmly play it out along the ground.
Yeah, that's now with Anderson bringing it forward. He's continued his run into the box. If Thomas can dig out a cross, the cross is actually to his opposite winger, Wilkes. This time his touch not so good. It's only just about cleared, played into the box by Barre, but that was between Barnsley players. It's a hammered downfield. There's a late challenge from a Barnsley viewpoint or a Fulham player. The referee's trying to play an advantage. It's in the end screwed away into a touch by Barnsley, desperate to clear their lines. Throw into Fulham on the halfway line, left hand side, but there might be a little bit of treatment needed for Johansson, and maybe the referee might take a little bit of action against Moet.
Ooh, he lands on his head, doesn't he, Johansson? There's a sliding challenge. I'd say it's more of a collision than anything, a bit of a tangle of legs, and Johansson just fell at an awkward angle. It looked like he was going to fall on his back, but he actually fell on his head, and just on the back of his head. Obviously a painful one, as it would be. I think he'll be alright though. Give it a bit of rub, bit of magic sponge maybe at half time as well, but nothing more from the referee than a free kick. Yeah,
about a minute to go, certainly till the 45 is completed, but we might get a bit of injury time as we're into the last of the regular 45 minutes, and that's poor control from Kamara has given Wilkes possession. Of course, Christie had gone on his overlap, so now Wilkes is running ahead of Kamara. He's made it into the box, tees it up, and it's dragged, poked wide off the near post. Barnsley want a penalty. I think it's Barre with the final touch. It's amazing he didn't at least hit the target. He still wants a penalty. He's inside the 6-yard box, and he's missed the target. It's wide. It's only going to be a goal kick.
And they're adamant, aren't they, the Tykes? It's going to be good to see a replay. Great play by Wilkes, taking advantage of Kamara's slip up there. He gets into the box, he squares it to Barre, who I think there's a long leg out from McDonald. This is going to be a better angle, I think, Rob. It's square to Barre, one touch, and it's McDonald who's on the ground. He catches Barre's left foot and he miskicks it wide.
Yeah, I think just as he's trying to strike the ball, it's he made contact with the foot, like you say. I'm not sure you get a penalty for that, but perhaps didn't see that. Well, I didn't see that on the first viewing, as a good ball in from the right hand side is well dealt with by Diaby, but only as far as Christie dinked into the box. An opportunity for Fulham to strike into injury time at the end of this first half. Just can't quite get a cross out, and then Kamara goes for a 25-yard left-footed curler, can't keep it down. It's into the stand behind the goal. 2 minutes of injury time to be played. We're into that, so time running out, but chances at both end. Obviously Barre's a lot more clear cut.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to say Caballero looks a a different class really for Fulham. When he does seem to find these nice pockets of space, he can't get the ball to him. Abubakar Kamara is having one of those afternoons, isn't he? He's a touch ambitious, that effort, trying to curl it into the far corner, well over the bar. When Fulham had a bit of pressure there, he kind of just released the valve and gave them a goal kick.
Yeah, Charlton have got in front at Blackburn, so every championship game's got a goal in it, but none of the sides are actually leading by more than one. But we are hitting the half-time marks. Obviously, still a few seconds left to play in our game. It's Barnsley 1, Fulham 0. Fulham might point to a couple of penalty claims. Barre, I thought he should have scored, but he might suggest that he was fouled in the process of shooting inside the 6-yard box. Barnsley have been better of the two sides, but it is Fulham finishing relatively strongly. They've been quiet for the last half an hour, but they've got possession. Maybe Barnsley are thinking about the break and settling for what they've got. Time is a factor though. Barnsley got most behind the ball. It's Fulham down the left-hand side. Mitrovic takes on two defenders as he tries to turn, slips into the edge of the box. Nice little pirouette from Kearney, but he's going towards the left edge of the area. Still digs out a cross. Hesitation at the far post. It's with Cavallero, tries to tee up a shot for McDonald. It's scooped wide of the near post, and that's possibly the last attack of the first half. Barnsley 1, Fulham 0. Just a goal kick to the Tykes. Oh, in fact, it took a deflection, I beg your pardon. It is a corner to Fulham, if there is time to take it. We are into the 3rd minute of stoppage time. Only meant to be 2. And the corner doesn't beat the one-man wall. Balloons up in the air. The referee then blows for half-time. Strange end, perhaps. Barnsley, it is, are in control at the break. They lead Fulham by 1-0.
1-0 at the break to Barnsley at home to Fulham. The Tykes deservedly up. They've played very, very well, and they got the breakthrough through Luke Thomas. It was poor defending by Fulham. Maxime Martian was beaten to the ball by Collie Woodrow.
Right, so it's half time. It's 1-0 to Barnsley. Comment your thoughts on the first half there. I honestly thought Fulham would be winning 2-0 at half time, but they've surprised me. Barnsley are winning. But there is 17 people in the stream. If you are going to leave now because it's half time, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can easily find my channel, because I will be continuing the commentary for the second half. And I will go on BBC Sport. Don't open it. I'll go on BBC Sport and show you every other half-time score in the EFL. I've tried to put every latest score in the chat, but I'm just going to show it on the screen now, because it'll be so much easier. So we'll start off with Scottish Premiership. Don't know if there's any Scottish people in here, but Celtic winning 3-0 against St Johnstone. Birmingham is 0-0 against St Mirren. Livingston 0-0 against Motherwell, and then Ross County beating Hamilton Academical 2-0. And moving on to Championship, the game we're doing commentary on is 1-0 to Barnsley. Charlton are beating Blackburn 1-0 away from home. Birmingham are beating Brentford away from home. Millwall are beating Preston at home. And Sheffield Wednesday beating Reading 1-0 away from home. QPR are beating Stoke away from home. Hull are beating Swansea 1-0 away from home. And Cardiff are also beating Wigan 1-0 away from home. And if there's any Nottingham Forest or West Brom fans in here at the moment, I will be doing live commentary for your game at 5:30. So the stream will start at 5 o'clock, and then we'll have half an hour to look at the teams and just sort out the stream and stuff. And then we'll put commentary up for that game if you want to watch that. And then in League One, we've got Rotherham beating Wimbledon 1-0 away from home. Blackpool winning at home against Bristol Rovers. Ipswich winning away from home against Burton Albion. commentary game is still going on apparently. I'll read it from here, that'll be so much easier. Yeah, it's a half-time commentary 0-0 against Southend. Doncaster game is still going on, it's currently 1-1. The Lincoln game's still currently going on, that's 1-0 to Lincoln at the moment. Peterborough losing 2-0 to Fleetwood at half-time. Shrewsbury drawing 0-0 to Portsmouth at half-time. Sunderland losing 1-0 to Oxford at half-time. The Tranmere v Rochdale game is still going on, it's currently 1-0 to Rochdale. And half-time, Wickham drawing 0-0 to Bolton. And then in League 2, Bradford drawing 0-0 against Cambridge. Carlisle v Crawley is at the moment 2-1, but it's half-time. I was about to say it's still going on, but according to the app I'm using, it's not half-time. But what is half-time is Colchester v Port Vale, that's 1-1. Crewe versus Plymouth is 2-0 to Plymouth at half-time. Exeter drawing 0-0 to Macclesfield at half-time. Forest Green are drawing 0-0 to Oldham at half-time. Leyton Orient are drawing 0-0 to Cheltenham at half-time. Morecambe are drawing 0-0 to Grimsby at half-time. Newport winning 2-0 against Mansfield at half-time. Walsall are winning 1-0 against Northampton, and Scunthorpe are drawing 0-0 against Swindon. I think every other game's half-time, so it's half-time to Coventry, Southend, Doncaster, Gillingham and Lincoln v Accrington. So most games are 1-0, there's some 2-0s, some 0-0 still, and there's also some there's 1-2-1 in League 2 again, well, with Crawley and Carlisle. But anyway, we're focusing on this game because this is the game we're doing commentary on. So Thomas giving Barnsley the lead 13 minutes in. We're going to go down to the beginning of the game, so you can see what happened like throughout this first half. But Mitrovic missed a chance 2 minutes in. Cavallero, right footed shot in the 7th minute, was high and wide to the right. Wilkes for Barnsley missed a left footed shot outside the box, and then 1 minute after that shot, Luke Thomas left footed shot from the right side of the 6-yard box that went into the bottom right corner. And Barre left footed shot was saved by Bettinelli. Matt Wilkes had a shot blocked in the 26th minute. And Wilkes had another shot missed, so Wilkes had a few chances that he hadn't scored. Woodrow had a shot which was missed. And a substitution, Le Marchand getting injured, so he had to come off, and Christie has come on for Fulham. And a few more chances for Barnsley, and one for Fulham. Yeah, quite a lot of chance for Barnsley. We'll look at the match stats. So more possession for Barnsley, but it's pretty even. Barnsley having double the shots Fulham have. No shots on target for Fulham, 2 on target for Barnsley. Both teams having one corner each and both making 8 fouls. So Barnsley look like they're the better side, which is quite surprising. I thought Fulham would easily win this match, but looks like they're causing a shock result here. And as the table stands, Barnsley winning the league, Birmingham second, Cardiff third, Charlton fourth, Hull fifth, Millwall sixth, QPR seventh, Sheffield Wednesday eighth. Then we have the Middlesbrough and Luton, who are the only teams that currently got a draw this season, so they're on 1 point. Then we have the 4 teams that haven't played yet. Then we have the rest of the 6 teams that haven't played yet. And then we have the rest of the teams that are currently losing. Then if we go on to League One, just go on to this game, we'll look at the table. Fleetwood at the moment winning the league because they're the only team winning by 2 goals. And then Blackpool are up there, Ipswich, Lincoln as well, Oxford, Rochdale and Rotherham all winning. Doncaster, Gillingham, Coventry, Portsmouth, Shrewsbury, Southend and Wickham all drawing. Bolton also drawing, but they're on a minus 12 point deduction, so they're now going to be on minus 11 points if the score stays like that. And then the rest of the teams are losing. And then if we go to League 2, we want to go on here. So Newport currently winning the league. They're winning 2-0 against Mansfield. Plymouth are also winning 2-0 against. Let me find out who they're winning 2-0 against. Crewe. And Salford beat Stevenage 2-0 earlier on. And the only other 2 teams that are winning only by 1 goal are Carlisle, who are winning 2-1 against Crawley, and Walsall, who are winning 1-0 against Northampton. And then Colchester, Port Vale, Bradford, Cambridge, Cheltenham, Exeter, Forest Green, Grimsby, Leyton Orient, Macclesfield, Morecambe, Oldham, Scunthorpe and Swindon all drawing. So a lot of draws happening in League 2. And then actually we have the relegate. No, the teams are currently losing down at the bottom. So we have about 5 minutes till the second half starts. I don't know what to do now. I guess we just have to wait. We'll go through not the Scottish opening day. We want to go through EFL opening Saturday. Can't be bothered to do a quiz. So we'll read the championship headlines. So 6 of the 8 away sides are ahead in the championship. Scott Parker's Fulham trailed to Luke Torrance's strike at newly promoted Barnsley. Joe Rowell's half volley has Cardiff 1-0 up at Wigan. Managerless Sheffield Wednesday lead at the same score at Reading thanks to Harris's goal. Grosicki has Hull ahead in the battle for a new manager against Steve Cooper's Swansea, and Charlton, Birmingham, Millwall and QPR also lead. Then in League 1 we have League 1's new boys Lincoln City ahead at Accrington through Michael O'Connor's goal. Fleetwood winning 2-0 against Peterborough with early goals from Harry Souttar and Josh Morris. Ipswich leads Burton 1-0 while Sunderland are a goal down at home against Oxford United, and Tranmere are a goal down against Rochdale. Ian Henderson with the penalty for the Dale, and Bolton are drawing 0-0 at Wickham despite being without many senior players. So Bolton doing a good job at the moment to get a point. And then we got League 2 headlines. Carlisle are leading Crawley 2-1 at home, while Plymouth are 2 up against Crewe. Newport are 2 goals to the good at home against Mansfield. A James Clark goal has given Walsall the lead away to Northampton, and Leyton Orient are being held 0-0 at home against Cheltenham. Bradford are also drawing against Cambridge with the same score. So that's what's happening in every other league. We have around 2-3 minutes until the second half starts again. So if you have any questions that you want to ask me in the chat, just comment and I'll answer every single one of them. Josh Taylor says, I'm in bed feeling sick. Well, if you are, I hope you get better soon. How much people in here? We've got 11 people in here. We're on 4 likes. So if you haven't liked already, if you could like, that would be great. And if you aren't subscribed, that would be great as well if you could, because I am going to be doing commentaries throughout the EFL EPL season. I'm probably going to do lots of Barnsley and Fulham live streams, so if you support one of them 2 teams and you want to see more commentaries for your team, hit the subscribe button and I'll do more of them throughout the season. We've gained 5 subscribers today. We gained 32 or something yesterday in the Luton Middlesbrough games, and we've only gained 5 at the moment, so it would be great if we could gain some more in the second half of this game and the Nottingham Forest game. But the second half in some games is resuming. The Fulham Barnsley game ended quite late compared to other games, so we're going to have to wait another minute or 2. But there are some other games resuming now. So we're just going to have to wait until Barnsley v Fulham starts again so we can do the commentary. Just going to leave it like that for now. Put the sub count on there for now because we're going to have to change it in a second. Swansea have just equalised at Hull. Not sure who's got the goal yet, but that's latest score. Blackpool have just made it 2-0 against Bristol Rovers. They're 7 minutes now into their second half. So 2 goals to start off the second half in the EFL. Any other goals? Doesn't look like it. So 2 goals to start the second half. The Barnsley Fulham second half should start any minute now, hopefully. Borja Baston got the goal for Swansea, if you were wondering. And for the Blackpool goal, it was Granduit I don't know how you pronounce his name. Granduella or something like that. But the second half is starting now. I'm going to put the commentary back on.
Again, as was the case for most of the first half, Barnsley first to the ball already in this second half. They've already won it back twice in the opening 40 seconds or so. Woodrow now holds up the ball under pressure from Adoy, still going, eventually just loses his footing. And Fulham maybe about to come away. Foul on Tom Carey. I'll just take you through the lineups. Barnsley 4-2-3-1, Radley in goal, Kavar, Diaby, Anderson and Sibic are back four, McGeehan and Alex Mowat in midfield, Wilkes, Baha and Thomas supporting Corley Woodrow. 4-3-3 for Fulham. Bettinelli, Adoy, Mawson, Christie now. Lamartian had to go off, and Brian McDonald, Kenny Johansson in the middle of the park, Mitrovic up front, Kamara and Cavaliero either side of him. I'm Jack Ogilvie, joined by Rob Edit, and well, Barnsley, good value for the lead, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done really well. They've pressed Fulham into one or two mistakes. They've looked lively. They're attacking both flanks. They've got a bit of pace about them. The fear, I guess, you'd be looking at them because they've been so sort of 100 miles an hour pressing, etc., and bombing forward, whether they can sustain it for 90 minutes. And, Fulham might just be able to get back in it. I mean, Fulham just need to find someone who's got a bit of composure, because I think they're just a little bit too rushed. And I don't think they're expecting the sort of press that Barnsley had, but here's an opportunity.
Yep, Kamara down the right hand side again. His ball in's a poor one. Cavaliero read it, hanging out on the left hand side. Back now to Bryant. Cavaliero again back inside towards Bryant. It's too strong. McGeehan's in there. Barra's going to try and hold it up, but he's dispossessed the Barnsley number 10. And now Johansson on to Kearney. Brian McDonald. Bryant needs to open his body, doesn't know, and well played by him. He's going into the box, advantage being played, tries to dink it towards Mitrovic, comfortable in the end, but that was a bit better really, from Fulham, at least playing with a bit of penetration.
Yeah, and they're actually finding teammates with the passes. Admittedly, they're going on the shorter side. The 5-yard, 6-yard passes, passing move, decent run from Brian, but he just couldn't quite find the space to get the cross in. Radling and Rather's reacted well, could have easily gone for a corner, but he's prevented that. And Barnsley, of course, then not under too much pressure. Straight down the other end, it's Barnsley on the attack.
Yeah, it is, and Sibic's got the wrong side of his man. It's back to Barrett. It's into the net, but Sibic offside.
Yeah, it's a decent break. He just delayed the pass inside Brian a little bit too long. Sibic was running onto it, pulled it to Barre, maybe 10 yards out. Decent strike, although the keeper wasn't moved, and I don't think the defenders were either. Sibic didn't quite see the side on angle, how offside he was, but obviously the flag went up and everybody knew it. So obviously it wouldn't have counted as at the other end. I can't remember the last time he touched the ball, Mitrovic. He's controlling it, but from an offside position, so it's a free kick to Fulham, to Barnsley.
Sorry, Rob. You expect he's going to be a key man for Fulham this season. Mitrovic did well to keep hold of him. A number of teams I know have been looking as the ball goes long, and it looked like it was going to go out for all the world. Hit the corner flag dead on, stayed in, and Fulham again failing to play out from the back. For the quality they've got on paper, Rob, they're just not performing at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not convinced they should be necessarily playing out from the back. I mean, you would think somebody like Kearney, they need to get him involved and preferably higher up the pitch. They're not quite doing it, and you've got to credit Barnsley for their pressing play. There's horrid passes, poor clearances, etc., and they're just clearing their lines. As I say, can they sustain it for 90 minutes? We'll see, but I mean, Barnsley aren't. They are carrying a threat going forward. If they get a second goal, it's difficult to see Fulham coming back, actually.
Yeah, it is. Here is Sibic. That's a good challenge this time by Brian. Thought he's going to be dispossessed second time round. Knocks it long. Well headed by Diaby against Mitrovic on the halfway line. McGeehan's trying to bring it down. He eventually does get control and then dinks a nice left-footed ball over the top. Here is Alex Mowat on the right-hand side. Goes inside, knocks it inside. It's going to be a corner kick. Brian looking frustrated. They just look at 6s and 7s at the moment. No one's winning the ball in the middle of the park for Fulham, and Barnsley can be very, very composed every time they come forward.
Yeah, good player. Nobody's tracked the run of Mowat. He could have perhaps committed the defender a little bit more than he did, but he's won his side a corner kick. We haven't seen that much threat from either side from set pieces, mind.
No, ball into the box. Heads go up at the near post. It's out. Back low to Mowat, who go past Kamara, who didn't really put a challenge on him. Mowat goes for a goal. Always going to be difficult. Off balance as well. He's known for his spectacular strikes, but this time over the crossbar.
Yeah, he's certainly full of confidence. I'm not sure his teammates will be delighted he's shooting from that angle. It's right on the right angle of the 18-yard box, so that it's a pretty tight angle. Of course, he's on his left foot and he can swing it to the far post, but it was always too high and never threatened Bettinelli. Not massively high. I've seen worse shots than that. But when you've just had a corner and there's 5-6 people in the box waiting for a cross, you might be disappointed.
Yes, as the cool as you like Anderson on debut today for Barnsley steps across, brings it out of the air and starts another attack. No look pass there by Kavar. Wilkes is too strong for Adoy, gets into the box, fires one towards the near post. Bettinelli, sharp save with his feet. End-to-end stuff here. Kamara skillful in the middle of the park, but too much in the end. He's not performed at all. His place is under threat. You feel with Anthony Knockout on the bench. And, Barnsley think they should have had an advantage there. There was a foul on Cavara, who'd come in from the left-back position. But if I was Scott Parker, I would be getting maybe Kamara off, Knockout on, Rob.
Yeah, you got to do something, get him involved. I thought Kamara's pace looked like it might be a problem, but they're just not seeing enough of the ball. I'm not sure that's going to change if just simply changing those two personnel. Maybe be a little bit more risky and take one of McDonald, Janssen, possibly even Kearney off and try and get some control in that midfield. I don't know, things aren't working. I think it's a little bit harsh personally to blame the right winger who wants the ball to come to him. He's having to come deep to get it, and that's not necessarily his strong point. You could say the same on the other side. Caballero might do something when he gets the ball. He's not seeing it enough, and what Mitrovic has offered Fulham in this game is next to nothing because he needs the service and he isn't getting it.
No, he's not, is he? Mowat stands over the ball, too far out to have a shot, but bodies up from the back. In fact, tell a lie, it's taken short. Tabare does go for goal, but it's a poor effort, really. In fact, it was Cauley Woodrow against his former club, and wide of the target. Now, we're seeing one of the new rules here. Defenders no longer have to be outside the box when they receive the ball from a goal kick. But Fulham are getting themselves in all sorts of problems. This time, though, they've done quite well, getting up towards the halfway line. Christie under pressure, but eventually they lose it. It is 40 yards from their goal, but it seems a daft ploy, really, doesn't it, playing out from the back when you're so far back. Everyone's got to go so deep when the defenders are receive the ball just on the 6-yard line. I'll get Rob's thoughts in a second because Brian's breaking forward. Whoa, that's a bad challenge. Diaby will go into the book, I would think, for that. Body checked him is the best way I can describe it. He's claiming innocence, but you don't get away with that.
No, I mean, the unfortunate thing from a Diaby viewpoint is I think Brian's running into a bit of a blind alley, so it's
he's closing it down, I think.
He's not going to retain the ball. He's knocked it past him, and Diaby can't help himself. I can tell you the goals are flying in elsewhere. Swansea have turned things around. They're now 2-1 up. Both those Swansea goals coming in the second half, and although Reading equalised, Sheffield Wednesday back in front. They're leading away at Reading 2-1. Blackburn have just levelled up at home to Charlton.
Free kick then to Fulham, 40 yards out or so. Dennis Adoy's up there. He had that great headed opportunity in the first half. McDonald and Janssen take it short between them. Now Mawson, who didn't go up for the initial bit of play, and Fulham overplaying at the moment. Kearney can maybe turn. No, gives it back to McDonald. Switch of play by the Scot, looking for Caballero on the left hand side. A little twist and turn. Was he fouled? Wants the free kick. Referee's not interested. Back to Brian. He tries to whip one in. And it goes out off everyone for a corner kick. Not by design. maybe this is a bit of luck for Fulham and an opportunity they can take.
Well, Woodrow's back there defending. He probably hasn't gotten involved as he would have liked, considering his size. Leading has looked pretty good. But yeah, putting in a shift, come back, blocks it behind for a corner. Keep saying we've not had that much threat from a corner. There was that one Adoy header from a free kick, but delivery needs to be better.
Yeah, the ball goes in, and it's Adoy again. Up there, but coming to nothing for Fulham. More disappointment. Same as it was in the first half, really, at Oakwell. Still Barnsley 1, Fulham 0. Barnsley really setting the pace. They've had a goal disallowed through Mike Barr. Good play down the right-hand side by Sibic, the debutant right back. However, he had just strayed offside before he played it back to his skipper. Everyone knew it, so it was an obvious one, I think. Maybe a bit of naivety, but it was a nice move nonetheless. Dennis Adoy's had another header over the bar for Fulham, but still not really producing too much. 1-0 to Barnsley.
And it's Fulham on the attack with McDonald switching play to Bryan. It wasn't the cleanest of pieces of control, so there's a little bit of momentum lost, but Cavallero injects a bit of pace, gets down the left hand side, checks back onto his right foot. Two players go down in the box, one of which was Mitrovic. No penalty, but Fulham still have it with Kamara, dinks it back to Johansson about 30 yards from goal. It's a chest pass from him backwards, and so they will have to start again, working out to the right hand side. Challenge comes in on Christie, and the linesman's right there, and he's given a free kick. Wilkes has got a perplexed look on his face, as though it's one big joke that the officials are having. But I think if he's slightly, he did get a piece of the ball, but you might argue lunging in like that, and you're asking for a bit of trouble.
I think it's a technique more than anything, isn't it? Lunges in, that's the best word. As Christie saw it coming, Wilkes couldn't help but dive in, and I think probably the right call in the end.
Wigan have got an equaliser against Cardiff, but the pressure is still on. I'm not sure if Fulham actually wanted a penalty there, but or some kind of serious action. Maybe obviously it wasn't a penalty because it was outside the box, but maybe they wanted a red card. I don't know. They seemed quite angry that they got a free kick.
Ball into the box, heads go up and just wide. Alfie Mawson, I think it was. Decent ball in by Brian Isher. Good delivery so far today. Now Alexander Mitrovic, 7 or 8 yards out. What I think they were complaining about, Rob, was that potential penalty. Yeah, well, to be fair, they've got a call in the last bit of play. Anderson was all over Mitrovic. He wasn't looking at the ball. Fortunately for him, the officials weren't looking at him. It was a good opportunity for Mitrovic, but you can see what the Fulham players were getting at there.
Yeah, it's one. Yeah, I mean, obviously being as old as I am, I think that would have been soft. The arm did come across, and then he fell over. I think he's looking for a penalty, but it's risky putting your arms around a striker in the box. There was an arm around the striker and there was contact. I don't think that would have knocked anybody over. It just happened to be an arm there. But as I say, it's a risk, and VAR might have come up with a different answer there, but I certainly think it was soft.
Fair enough. As Fulham play their way out from the back, Mawson, long ball left to right. It's a good one as well. He'll find Kamara down the right hand side, hugging the touchline. Boubacar Kamara, the defender slips in front of him, back to Kearney. Can Kearney get the shot away? He waits. Johansson with a strike, well wide. I thought the chance was Kearney's more than anything. I like the idea of helping on to Johansson, but the Barnsley defenders read it and made it difficult for the Norwegian. Yeah,
it's a decent strike power-wise, but like you said, I don't know why Kearney didn't want to take the shot. Credit to 2 or 3 Barnsley defenders there, Sibic and Diaby, 2 of those. They're closing down Johansson, so he never quite had a clean strike. It was kind of snatched, and obviously he lacked the direction. That's a pretty awful goal kick from Radlinger, and for whatever reason, Anderson was outside the 18-yard box, but he's managed to keep the ball and Barnsley clear their lines. Yeah,
playing the old rules there, weren't they? The Tykes, long ball forward. Wilkes was chasing, but couldn't quite keep it in. Still 1-0 to Barnsley, edging towards the hour mark. Independent off-tube studio commentary. And it's been a really entertaining game. I think we were expecting more from Fulham coming into it, but Barnsley have totally upset the flow and they've dominated. I'm totally honest with you. Maybe a few signs that Fulham are getting into the groove, but they need to find something. As Mawson, left-footed ball, looking for Cavallero. Cam McGeehan's put a good challenge in there. Is that going to be a Barnsley or a Fulham ball? Not quite sure on the near side. Caballero's, well, Scott Parker's facial expression suggests it's going to be a Barnsley ball, taken quickly by Civic to McGeehan. McGeehan's outnumbered. Mitrovic just tried to clean him out there. It was poor play. I think the referee may have taken a note of that one as Civic's searching through ball, blocked. McDonald now. Kenny wide, he's got Caballero and Diaby on that yellow card. Great through ball. Kenny just inside the box and a covering challenge by Anderson. It needed to be made. See him there, he's celebrating. It's almost, if it's a goal, that's better from Fulham moving it with a bit of pace.
Yeah, better from Fulham stretching Barnsley a little bit. Talked about the energy levels. Maybe they can't sustain it for 90 minutes. Obviously, Fulham getting a little bit more time on the ball. We're seeing runs from deep from Kearney. Probably the first time he's got in the box, isn't it? Good clearance though. Bailing out his keeper there. But still time for Fulham to win this. They're only one down. Obviously, Barnsley missed a couple of chances. And I'd say this half is even Stevens at the moment. But I think Fulham are just starting to get into the ascendancy. Yeah,
there's a feeling that they are getting on top as Stephen Janssen just has a word with the referee. And Malik Wilkes clashing there, but nothing too long term. It'll be a free kick to Barnsley after all that. Around about 6 yards in the Fulham half. Dimitri Cavera will stand over the ball. And he waits and he waits and he waits and he asks for teammates to make runs for him. And eventually goes all the way back to Anderson, who's looked really good today. Him and Diaby, the new central defensive pairing. And both of them excelled so far. Diaby, though, needs to be careful on a yellow card. He's on the ball here as well. Plays it clear. But Caballero gets the blocking. Diaby's strong, though. And beats Caballero to the seconds. Flicked on by Mowat. Then McDonald tries to bring it down on the left-hand side. Maybe a bit of a tweak in formation with Kearney going a bit further forward for Fulham. As Caballero on the left here helps the inside, looking for Kearney, and it seems to be an indecision. Is it going to be a corner kick or a throw-in? All eyes on the referee, Mr. Gillet, but it's going to be a throw-in on the left-hand side. Brian's taking it back a bit. He's been told to get right into the corner, which of course makes life a bit more awkward. But what can he produce? He keeps trying to buy a yard, Joe Bryant. He is right in the D. He's lining up for a long throw, no real angle. See what he can produce. Launches it forward, looking for goalkeeper. And, Mitrovic wide of the target. And again, disappointment for Fulham.
Yeah, disappointment. Final ball not good enough, often enough. Obviously, they've had a couple of half chances here and there, but as I say, I think they're just starting to get on top. Barnsley just need to dig in, regroup a little bit. Could see a substitution, fresh legs on the pitch to try and just get back on top possession-wise. I still think their pace, particularly the likes of Wilkes and Thomas, have had quite a second half actually. But I mean, Wilkes in particular, he's been a key figure for Barnsley. He's forced an error. He's chased down an aimless flick on really, but Dennis Adore under pressure is put it behind for a corner. So good work from Wilkes again. This time in a more defensive aspect, and it's a set-piece opportunity for Barnsley.
Yeah, that was good work by Wilkes. Adore put under pressure and couldn't do much about it. As chance now for the ball to go into the box. They've got some big bodies in there. Anderson and Diaby. It's an in-swinger. The head's going just wide of Marcus Bettinelli's goal. It's Wilkes in there. Not one you'd imagine would be troubling Fulham in the air, but just flashed wide with that header. We'll get those thoughts in a second because the break is on for Fulham. Johansson back to Christie. Kenny's got a bit of space. Wide is Johansson. Mitrovic is with Diaby. Cavare tries to close him down, can't. And the poorly disguised ball, I suppose, just trundles out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think he should have scored, to be honest. I mean, it looked to be a free header to me, and perhaps heading isn't his strong point, because I don't think he's even had to jump there, and he's just glanced it wide. A bit more meat in the header, and it's least testing Bettinelli. First change made by Fulham. Sorry, second, yeah, because of course the injury in the first half. Johansson's going off, and Anthony Knockaert, summer arrival, is coming on in his place. So you'd say it's an attacking move.
Yeah, it looks like he's gone right up front with Mitrovic, and on loan from Brighton, with the move being made permanent come the summer. And he could be really handy for Fulham. Had a decent season in the Premier League last season with the Seagulls. Maybe not in Graham Potter's plans, and he's come to move to the Cottagers, and we'll hope for a bit of regular football. Great play again by Wilkes. He's taken down by Brian. It was a tangle of legs more than anything, but it is a free kick. Wide on the right hand side, a chance once again to try and pepper the Fulham goal.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit harsh for it to be a free kick, because I'm not entirely convinced that Wilkes has played the ball. And he's arguably got a sort of chunk of Brian's shirt. Neither player knew where the ball was, and they ended up tangling their legs, like you're saying, falling over. So possibly a little bit unfortunate to concede a free kick on that occasion. Brian, another set-piece opportunity. They just had the best opportunity from a set-piece all game, Barnsley, where their last set-piece, which was, of course, a corner. This is a free kick, maybe 20, 25 yards out. Right channel, different delivery you'd expect.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you, as Woodrow waits patiently on the penalty spot. Both Mowat and McGeehan stood over the ball. It's going to be Mowat's left foot in towards the goalkeeper. It bounces. It's a header away by Mawson. Seconds are up. It's in the air. It's an awkward one for Bettinelli, but he does well under pressure from Diaby. Once again, though, uncertainty at the back for Fulham. They may have worked hard over the summer, but maybe not on the defensive play.
No, I think Bettinelli did okay there, didn't he? Because they didn't really clear the line. So I don't think they've defended well all game there, to be fair, at Fulham. We mentioned they've got a settled line-up in a sense, because only Cavallero, obviously Knockout's come on the pitch now, but only Cavallero's the new man, and they were awful defensively last season. It's a credit to Barnsley with their 6 new faces that they're playing as cohesively as they are, because they haven't offered Fulham too many opportunities, too much space. They certainly haven't given time on the ball, and they'll be quite delighted with the new arrivals.
Yeah, great nutmeg there by Cavare, but couldn't follow it up. Back to Anderson. Now Mowat. Guerrero is helping out back there. He's on the halfway line. Just tries to hold off a Fulham player. Now Coley Woodrow. Back to Cavare on the halfway line. Dinked forward and looking for Johnson. Gets the touch. Goes past the goalkeeper. Is he going to make it 2-0? No, it's just wide. Was it a touch by a Fulham player? I think it was. Maybe even the goalkeeper. Could have been 2-0. The look on Johnson's face suggests it should have been. Yeah,
I think it should be as well. Thomas has rounded the keeper. He's done all the hard work, but didn't see which defender it was actually sliding in. Has obviously blocked it into the side netting. Thomas has got his head in the clouds here. He's looking up to the heavens. I should have scored. But it is only a corner kick. Let's have a look. Just blocking it in the end. I think it was Brian coming in from the left back position. So good work from him. Another corner to Barnsley.
Yeah, and chance to load the box again. They've been the better team from these situations. It's towards the back post and Anderson, but it's a header away by Mawson. Marked his man well. Barnsley still not clear the dangerous. Wilkes goes inside, fouled by Cavallero. Poor play by the Portuguese. Got to be a bit cuter there, you feel.
Yeah, I can't tell. He's Cardiff just equalised actually. Another
cross towards Coley Woodrow will rescue it. Helped back. Now Cavare. As he fancy tries to feed the ball in there. Adoy's going to be strong here. And play it back to Bettinelli, who bowls it out quickly looking for Kamara. But at the moment, Barnsley still on top. Still 1-0 to Barnsley in the game at Oakwell. They've just had a great chance through Malik Wilkes. In fact, Thomas just breaking inside. Well played by Joe Bryan. I've got to say, Rob, Bryan's been their best player today, Fulham. He's really stood up, but Mowat's running forward, and they're going to get a corner kick. It's just relentless at the moment from the Tykes. We're worried about the fitness, but they seem to be well, still pretty fresh.
Yeah, he's done all right. I think he's been a little bit exposed on that left-hand side. There was that one, I might argue for the goal. He made a little bit of a Horlicks of things, but yeah, he's done okay, hasn't he? He's been under a little bit of pressure. Mawson isn't the sort of commanding defender that many perhaps expected him to be when he moved to Swansea in this particular game. Another set piece, here it comes.
Yeah, ball back in the box, it's half away. It's McGinn, it's back to Bahrain, just a numbers game. I thought I'm going to clear the lines, they're making heavy work of it, I have to say. Still 1-0 to the Tykes at home to Fulham, and the Cottagers have made the move really. Anthony Knockout has come on for Stefan Johansson. He's gone right up front alongside Alexander Mitrovic. They also had a penalty shout for a potential foul by Anderson on Mitrovic. Referee not interested though. Barnsley's chances continue. We've seen a header from Wilkes, and Thomas had a shot blocked on the line well by Joe Bryan. If we are going to get another goal, maybe these will be famous last words, but it looks like it will be Barnsley's. Fulham are trying, they're huffing and puffing, but just can't get going at the moment. It remains 1-0 to the home team.
Yeah, there was that one opportunity that they had for Kearney, who did actually beat Radlinger with his shot, but it was cleared up by Anderson behind it. But other than that, we're into the 72nd minute now of the game, and Fulham is still struggling to really test Radlinger. Certainly not doing it on a consistent basis. And here come Fulham again. Barnsley again, ball back in towards the penalty spot. Woodrow's missed his shot. Wilkes has kept it alive just inside the left edge of the area. His shot blocked by the legs of Christie. Ricochets away for a throw into Barnsley. Better opportunity there for Woodrow. The square pass from Thomas. Again springing the offside, but just running onto it around about the penalty spot. He's completely missed the ball, and arguably that was Barnsley's, well, certainly a very good opportunity for Barnsley. Wouldn't have been as good as the headed opportunity. It was at the edge of the 6-yard box, but the pressure is still coming the way of as an overhead kick comes in straight at the keeper, and it was a decent save in the end, but ambitious, I suppose, going for an overhead kick. Woodrow?
Yeah, just a bit. It was kind of looped into the box more than anything. He gets good contact, but he's got to be 15, 16 yards out. It's going to have to be something special to beat Bettinelli from there, and in the end, quite comfortable for the goalkeeper. Yeah,
it's still only one goal deficit, though, as far as Fulham are concerned. 1 goal advantage for Barnsley. And so they still haven't put this game to bed. Fulham back on the attack with Kamara, right hand side, just checks back, feeds at Knockout, pulls the trigger, left foot in, that's tipped over the bar by Radlinger. He seemed to go near top corner, maybe that was too close to the keeper, but it still looked a good save, and it will just be a corner.
Yeah, good save by the goalkeeper. The first time he's really been called into action. Knockout, first time we've seen him, gets his head down, goes for the near post, maybe would have been better suited going across goal. Decent save in the end by the Austrian.
Yeah, just a corner in the end, and it will be taken on the Fulham right, left-footed. I was going to say an in-swinger, but they've tried to work it short. Missed the target, and the ball is back on the halfway line with Bryan, who floats one up to the left-hand side, and McDonald just helps it down the line. Was he nudged, I think, the defender coming across? No, it came off Anderson last, and the referee felt there was no contact from Kamara, so the throw-in is Fulham's. But then Mawson trying a little back heel has lost possession. He slides in, looked to have won the ball, but the referee is behind Mawson, and therefore the Barnsley player says it's a free kick.
Yeah, I thought he won the ball as well. I suppose a bit like the Wilkes one earlier on. It's the angle that he came in from. Final change. This looks like for Fulham, Cavallero will come on. It's going to be Floyd Ayite, who got a bit of a look in the Premier League last term. Just having a look how he looks like he's going to be a straight swap on the left-hand side.
Yeah, Yite getting his chance then with 16 minutes and whatever injury time it's added on. They're only a goal down, but they just can't get anything going really in attacking positions. Things break down one way or another. And of course the knockout chance was from 20-25 yards out. Decent strike obviously, but from range. Fulham get it back inside their own half, and then there's a late challenge by McGeehan. It was a bouncing ball which Kenny was going to beat him to, and he's just caught Kenny. Free kick is Fulham's inside their own half, worked over to Christie, but then it's a poor pass down the line, nowhere near knock-on, and Barnsley get it back, chipped up to the halfway line where Woodrow loses out to Adoy. He went down fairly easily. He's not going to get the free kick he wanted. Now it's hit long, and Mitrovic has got a touch there ahead of Anderson. Looks for support, comes from Knockout out wide. It's Aite who's in the middle with Mitrovic at the moment. Knockout still has it. He's wriggling one way then the other. Then tried a little nutmeg, doesn't quite come off. Blocked behind by McGeehan. Corner kick to Fulham.
It looks like Aite has gone right up front, doesn't it, to partner Mitrovic. Give the serve someone to work with, because he has looked isolated. Knockout's looked good since he's come on, and he's going to take this corner kick.
Charlton have gone back in front at Blackburn. Wigan are back in front at home to Cardiff as the corner comes in, and that's just too close to rattling an easy claim from the Austrian. Sheffield Wednesday were 2-1 up, but they've been reduced to 10 men. They're the only other changes to proceedings, if you've been keeping up with the scores, although I think Stoke have just pulled one back against QPR. They're 2-1 down at home though. Time's running out into the last 15 minutes at Oakwell. It's independent off-tube studio commentary. Barnsley good value for a 1-0 lead. They still might brew missed opportunities. That Barre chance at the end of the first half, and of course that header from Wilkes in particular. There have been other opportunities as well. Thomas had one blocked on the line, as Fulham somehow hanging in there, not offering too much of a threat at the moment. Though it's another crossfield ball aimed out to the left hand side, and Kamara, who's seemingly switched flanks, now he's going past Sibic, checks back onto his right foot, then tried a little drag back. He's missed the ball, he's lost possession. Has he fouled his man? Yes, he has, and it'll be a free kick to Barnsley near their own corner flag, right hand side. Trying too much, but in fact, it's not a free kick. It's a throw in, but it's still coughing up possession.
Yeah, it's it's good play initially, but I don't think he fancied it on his left foot. And the move kind of broke down with that. It allowed the two Barnsley men to get back, and frustration again for Kamara.
Yeah, another foul this time committed by Mawson on the halfway line. Means that Barnsley have a free kick, which they're in no rush to take. Understandably, 13 minutes to go. They're 1-0 up on the season opener at home to Fulham. One of the pre-season favourites for the title, the Championship title. I don't think that'll change on the back of one result, but obviously not the ideal start that Scott Parker wanted to his season. As a diagonal from the free kick, taking no chances. Knockout made sure it doesn't reach Wilkes, and has glanced it into touch. Throw in is Barnsley's, taken now by Barney. Worked infield to Kamari. Tried a little 1-2 with Woodrow, then tries to drive into the box. Never quite had the ball under control, and eventually it was just towed away from him by Fulham and cleared downfield. Mitrovic will give chase again, but that's all he's been doing in this game.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's had a chance, has it? Maybe a couple of... He had that header over the bar, but nothing else. That Woodrow chat, he just seemed to be half a step behind him all the time, the ball, doesn't it? As Aite gets his first touch, but typically for Fulham today, it's a backwards pass. Bettinelli's got to be careful here. Wilkes, though, he just drops the shoulder. Well played by the goalkeeper, clears his lines.
Yes, the header's won by Diaby, although it's a loose one from him. He's only found Kamara, so Fulham back on the attack. Christie feeding out to Knockaert, right wing, onto his left foot, swings it deep towards the far post. It's parried away, only comes out to Aite, who waits for the ball to come down, eventually gets his shot off, then it's blocked. The ball didn't quite come down quick enough when the space appeared to be there, and in the end his effort blocked, but it's come back to Aite, to Mitrovic, back to Aite, tried to square towards the far post. That's blocked by the legs of Diaby, and Barnsley are able to clear. Thomas is left in a heap by two strong challenges. No, the referee says no foul, and it's now with Knockaert, goes round his man towards the byline, gets a cross in. It's controlled by Kamara, but he seemed to lose a bit of momentum behind his shot, falling away from the ball, stabbed it towards goal, and the keeper just falls on it. That's a big opportunity gone begging.
Yeah, it was tough really for Kamara, because his first touch, he was always going to go away from goal, and he tried to spin and hit it. I'll be interested to see. It was a bad challenge, I thought, by Bryant in the middle of the park that kind of created that goal, I suppose. Kamara and Aite getting in each other's way. Aite with the earlier effort after the goalkeeper had lost the ball in the air. Seeing it again, well, he kind of gets a punch on it, but not great. Aite strikes for goal, always going to be difficult. Hooked clear. I thought, hoping we can get a replay of that challenge. I thought it was a free kick all day long.
Yes, left two Fulham players, left Thomas in a heap, but no foul said the referee. And then a good opportunity came on the back of it, but Kamara not done any favours by it. They both wanted to shoot, and maybe that just got in Kamara's head. It's credit to Radling, who spread himself well, made himself big, and made the vital save. Into the last 10 minutes at Oakwell, independent off-tube studio commentary. There's been a stoppage in play. What is the referee doing? Is all the players are over on the in front of the dugouts, presumably getting some instructions, some drinks. So time running out.
Heading into the final stages in the game at Oakwell, it remains Barnsley 1, Fulham 0, but maybe signs that Fulham are starting to move through the gears. Substitute Anthony Knockout has looked sharp. He had an effort well saved by Radlinger, the goalkeeper. Trey back move really dipping onto his left foot from the right hand side, but the keeper had it covered in the top corner. Floyd Aite also had a shot blocked off the line after Radlinger had lost the ball in the air. It was a poor punch by him. It fell to Aite, but couldn't get the required shot away. Also, Abubakar Kamara has also had an effort saved well by the goalkeeper after a sharp turn. Barnsley still looking good, but maybe fatigue is becoming a factor.
The games might be more advanced than this one. I'll bring you the latest scores in a moment, because Knockout has it on the right hand side, checks back onto his left foot, but that's well read though by Cavari, and he might have just got a clip of the ankles, which he rode, and so no free kick. It's a poor touch on the halfway line though from Woodrow, and Fulham do get it back as Kamara tries to set Brian away down the left hand side. He's overplayed the pass, it's into touch. Throw in is Barnsley is halfway inside their own half. Quick update of the other scores. Blackburn 1, Charlton 2, Brentford 0, Birmingham 1, Millwall 1, Preston 0, Reading 1, 10-man Sheffield Wednesday 2, Stoke 1, QPR 2, Swansea 2, Hull 1, Wigan 3, Cardiff 2. Of course, our game is Barnsley 1, Fulham 0, with around about 8 minutes to go. And Thomas's goal looks to be the decisive one at the moment. Offside given against Wilkes, but the threat from Barnsley is not as much as it was maybe 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, you got to think that because they've not seen much of the ball, they looked good in the first half with the ball, but they played more on the counter-attack in this second half. The legs are starting to go. Inevitable, really. First game of the season. You can work as hard as you like in pre-season, play as many warm-up games, but nothing quite matches the intensity of a championship fixture, and the feeling is now that Fulham are letting the ball do the work, and they're the fresher of the two teams.
Yeah, just to show you, over 7 minutes to go, trying to stretch the Barnsley defence. It's on the right hand side. Christie with an early ball in under pressure. I think Diaby's put an excellent header with Mitrovic at his back, and it's gone behind. Diaby looks at the referee, feeling that maybe he got a bit of a shove as well, but it's good defensive work from Diaby. Mitrovic, of course, big, tall, strong striker, right on his shoulder, but he's beaten off the initial danger. Corner kick on the Fulham left, which is swung in towards the near post, headed away to the edge of the box. Kamara goes for the volley, and rather gone underneath it. Didn't make that much of a contact either, and it's looped high and wide of the target, and he'll be behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, always a tough one, isn't it? That skill, the ball's bouncing towards him, he's got to get his body over it, slices across the goal. Out for a throw, goal kick rather. We're seeing the goal again. I think Brian wanted a free kick, and no one did anything. It was weak defending all round by Fulham. Every time you see it, it gets worse for you, probably from Scott Parker's point of view.
Yeah, I'll have a word, I'm sure. Mawson, you might complain of a foul, but when a striker's in the box, the 6-yard box, you've got to go and put a challenge in.
Well, one of them, Bettinelli and Mawson, they know the game, don't they? They've played a lot of football between them, and one of them's got to take control. The dive at the goalkeeper, the would-be forward, and make life difficult for him. Yeah,
that's the difference between the two sides at the moment. Other chances been and gone. Some clear-cut ones as well for both sides, really. Largely Barnsley, but they haven't quite sealed this game yet, and the 3 points, but only a shade over 5 as it's gone long by Adoy. Then there's a slip from Cavari. He's onto his feet quick enough to recover, I think he was trying to win a goal kick off the legs of Knockout, but he nutmegged Knockout, and it fell kindly for Barnsley, although it's lost by McGee, and then a switch of play over to the left by Fulham. It's too quick, too hasty. Might have taken a deflection, did it. Kamara's running across. First change made by Barnsley, and a goal scorer is the man who's making way.
Yeah, it looks like Connor Chaplin's going to come on for the final stages of the game. Number 11 on his back. Another new man signed from Coventry. And it looks like record sign Luke Thomas is going to be the match winner, Rob.
Yeah, into the last 5. Obviously, it was a late equaliser in the Championship opener on Friday night. There's plenty of goals going in elsewhere. This one's a tight one score-wise. Obviously, just the one goal in it. Chaplin waiting patiently to come on. Finally gets 5 minutes to show what he can do. With Barnsley leading. Haven't had a great recent record against Fulham, actually. Lost the all 4 meetings the last 2 seasons. They met Fulham in the Championship. 16-17 and 17-18, but seem to be turning that around. They played well for 86 minutes. Can they see out this game? Fulham seeing more of the ball. Radling has had at least been forced to make a couple of saves, but when he hasn't been able to make them, they've just given it away. Fulham at the back, could be an opportunity. Wilkes goes for goal, a little bit selfish. He's driven it into a doy. The ball spoons away towards the corner flag with the side spin. Actually goes behind for a corner kick. And there'll be no rush to take this, will they, Barnsley? But another mistake.
So casual, wasn't it, really? Maybe fatigue starting to play into, have an issue with Fulham, but this is the wrong end for them. As Wilkes is wandering off. I wonder if he's being substituted there, the way he was looking towards the bench. He's played, I think the Barnsley fans will be pretty delighted with what they've seen from him so far.
Yeah, looks a threat. Obviously, we've seen the headed chance, but he's got pace. Can take on a man. Decent strike on him as well. Might have had a goal on another day, but trying to take a bit of time off the clock, taking the corner short, and then trying to keep it alive. But they only did that for so long, and Fulham, well, they do win the ball back, but there's more red shirts than white in that particular area of the field. And Barnsley have it back in their possession on the halfway line with Diaby, who drills it into the chest of Wilkes. I don't think Wilkes was the target, but didn't quite get the elevation on the attempted chip down the channel. And it's back with Fulham now, but more time off the clock. 2.5 minutes to go plus injury time, and Fulham still intent on playing it out from the back. It's not going to perhaps get the travelling fans, if there are any. It's an empty stand behind that particular goal. Certainly a sparse crowd, but they don't want to see the keeper and the defenders knocking it about in the last couple of minutes when the side's trailing. It's on the halfway line in their possession with Bryan down the line for Kamara, closely marked though by Sibic. And is he too closely marked? Yes, he is. Free kick to Fulham, only just inside the Barnsley half. Left wing, Kamara wants the ball to come to his feet. Fulham wasting their own time, wondering where to put the ball.
I wouldn't be doing that in front of Scott Parker. The 3 Fulham players there just wouldn't give Bryan the ball when he was stood where the free kick was going to be taken. This seems to take an age to get the ball down.
If the delivery's good, they might still get a chance. But 90 seconds plus injury time. Bryan with the delivery. It's into the box. Looked too deep, but it's headed clear by Diaby. Perhaps got to let it go. Then it's an overhead kick downfield from Wilkes. Bettinelli's come well outside of his area. Woodrow was giving chase, but Bettinelli sweeping up. Hits it long. Headed up in the air by Mitrovic and then away by Anderson. Although Fulham reclaim it on the centre circle. We're working it out to Christie on the right hand side. Time and space. Not the best cross. Anderson clears. It's still with Fulham. And now it's a shot from goal. And it's 2-goal by McDonald. Too close to the keeper though. Comfy save.
The nice effort by McDonald. The ball was rolling across him. He kind of had to have the shot because he was under a bit of pressure. But again, having a decent save down to his right hand side. When you'd expect him to make, but allows Barnes just to take a few more seconds off the clock. Yeah, he strikes it well, McDonald, but it is with his side foot, and when you'd fancy your keeper to make those 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it really needs to put a bit of oomph behind it, try to place it. There's a bit of fouling going on. Woodrow trying to put Mawson under pressure, but it will be a free kick. It's only just outside the Fulham box though. We've got about 10 seconds left of normal time. There will of course be some added time, which there's a change being made by Barnsley actually, and Woodrow is going off. He's worked hard, hasn't had many opportunities to score today. There was that one where he was forced wide, but I can't think of too many others.
No, he's worked hard, like you say. Looks like Abraham is going to come on. No, it's not going to be George Miller instead. Midfield player for, he plays up front. He'll go up front. I think he'll just try and make the numbers, really. 4 minutes have been added on, so still time for Fulham.
Yeah, on what we've seen so far, not enough time you wouldn't have thought, but you never know. They do have possession. Barnsley are pretty much retreating behind the ball, so that will give them a chance to at least apply some pressure. Bryan sidesteps one challenge, feeds it out to Kamara, goes for the return pass down the left channel, low ball in towards the near post, but Ite beaten to it by Diaby, and it's cleared downfield, played back towards Bryan. Bryan looked to be offside, so didn't play the ball. Kamara's then tried to keep it alive. It came off him last though, much to Fulham's frustration, and that will be a Barnsley throw with already 1 minute of injury time completed.
Yes, having a look, not quite sure, but again the frustration. I think the Fulham players they know they've underperformed today. Obviously, you want to set the tone early doors for your season. They've got Blackburn at home next weekend, Sheffield Wednesday away for Barnsley, so South Yorkshire derby. Looks like the Tigers are going to get an early 3 points. What we thought was going to be a bit of a long season for them. Yeah,
still under pressure though in these last few minutes of injury time. And another hurried clearance. Diaby has been a rock really at the back for Barnsley. It's happy to just put it out for a throw-in. It could have been offside actually. The flag stays down. Kamara keeps it alive, and McDonald goes square. Christie in a very central position, dinks it into the box. Nobody's making a run because Barnsley are trying to play the offside, and they've done it well. That's just going to bounce harmlessly through to Radlinger, who waits to be closed down. Every right to do so, and it's more time off the clock. Probably got about about 100 seconds or so for Barnsley to see off Fulham and win their season opener. Get the fans on side pretty early doors as well. 6 new signings in the starting 11 in this side. Well, then Wilkes and others are getting into a bit of afters. Wilkes was penalised, and then he's obstructing Fulham from taking a quick free kick. Referees run across to calm it down.
All seconds off the clock, isn't it? I think the point Wilkes is trying to make is you'd be doing it in your situation. So it's not great play, but it's professional play, as you say.
Sheffield Wednesday have got a third. That's with 10 men, so they look to have picked up the point. Substitution. I don't like substitutions in injury time, but there is one being made.
And it's Mamadou Tiamu who's going to come on for Malik Wilkes, who claps the crowd, gets a yellow card for his trouble as well. I think he'll shake everyone's hand as he comes off as well. He's taking his time, but Daniel Stendhal, if this is the case, has been pretty canny with his substitutions. He wanted to keep the 11 on the pitch, but he's made them all from 85 minutes onwards, and he's killed Fulham's momentum.
Yeah, well, obviously Fulham, one of the early favourites. Cardiff have also been beaten. That's a result. Stoke have been beaten. There's still a few seconds left for Barnsley to try and hold out for. It was launched into the box and then cleared. Miscontrol has allowed Barnsley to break out, with Mowat trying to set the substitute away down the right-hand side, Miller, and that's good pace shown by Kamara. He's then played off the corner flag. It bounces the wrong way, so it will be a corner to Barnsley. And this game might well have been done now. Never quite put enough pressure on the Barnsley rear guard. Not one of those days for Fulham. They're defending a corner at the moment. Absolutely no rush from the hosts. The fans are certainly excited. And you might argue it's a sign of promise for this season. Up from League One. But they look like they will carry a threat as eventually the full-time whistle goes, and Barnsley, good value for a 1-0 victory, missed a couple of chances that might have settled any nerves, but they've managed to hold out. They've beaten early favourites for the title Fulham by 1-0.
Right, so the full-time whistle has gone. It finishes 1-0 to Barnsley, which I'm pretty surprised about, because I thought Fulham were easily going to win this match. But there is 35 people in this live stream. So if you want to see more Barnsley and more Fulham live commentaries, hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to be doing lots more commentaries for those clubs. So hit the subscribe button, and also if you want to see a live commentary for Nottingham Forest versus West Brom, I'm going to end this stream in 2 minutes and then start another one for the Nottingham Forest versus West Brom game, and I'm going to do live commentary for that. So if you want to see that, just come on my channel in about 2 minutes after I end this, and then I'll be doing that. So Barnsley winning, which I'm surprised about. They were the better team, to be honest, and I think they did deserve that. Fulham were poor, to be honest. Also, next time they need to start Knockout, not bring him on halfway through the second half, to be honest, because Kamara didn't really do much this game. But anyway, this is the league table at the moment. Sheffield Wednesday top of the league. They won 3-1. Wait, no, let's not do that. Let's run through every other result quickly before we do that. So, Barnsley won 1-0 against Fulham. Charlton beat Blackburn 2-1. Brentford beat Birmingham beat Brentford 1-0. Millwall 1-0 up against Preston. Sheffield Wednesday beat Reading 3-1. QPR beat Stoke 2-1. Swansea beat Hull 2-1. Wigan beat Cardiff 3-2, which is another surprise result. So all the teams I think are going to get relegated are all won today, which is surprising. Anyway, League One results. Wimbledon lost 2-1 to Rotherham. Blackpool beat Bristol Rovers 2-0. Ipswich beat Burton 1-0. Coventry beat Southend 1-0. Doncaster drew 1-0 to Gillingham. Lincoln City beat Accrington 2-0. Fleetwood are most likely going to win against Peterborough 3-1. Shrewsbury beat Portsmouth 1-0. Sunderland drew 1-0 to Oxford. Rochdale at the moment beating Tranmere 3-2. Rochdale were 3-0 up about 20 minutes ago. So don't know what's happened to Tranmere in the last few minutes, but they've suddenly turned on. And also Wickham beat Bolton 2-0, so Bolton look like they're not going to have a great season, to be honest. But anyway, moving on to League 2, Salford v Stevenage, that finished at 12:30. That was the 12:30 kick-off, and it finished 2-0. Bradford drew 0-0 to Cambridge. Carlisle are most likely going to beat Crawley. Colchester drew 1-0 to Port Vale. Crewe lost 3-0 to Plymouth. Probably going to go top of league then, Plymouth. And Exeter beat Maxwell 1-0. Forest Green beat Oldham 1-0. Leyton Orient beating Cheltenham 1-0. Grimsby beating Morecambe 2-0. That'll probably be the final score. Newport bottling a 2-0 lead at half-time against Mansfield. They drew 2-2. Walsall beating Northampton 1-0, and Swindon winning 2-0 against Scunthorpe. So for the league table, Plymouth top of League 2, Grimsby second, Salford down to third after their win earlier on. And I'll just scroll down because I can't be asked to read all of it. I'll leave on 5 more seconds. Josh Taylor says I've got to go. Alright, see you in a minute. If you want to join the 9 and Forest West Brom stream later on, I'll be doing that until around 7:15. That's probably when it's going to end, so I'll hopefully see you then. If not, I'll see you tomorrow hopefully. But no, that's the League 2 table. If we look at the League 1 table, we have Fleetwood top of the league, Blackpool second, Lincoln third, which is looking good for them at the moment. And then at the bottom we have Accrington in the relegation zone, Bristol Rovers, and then Bury and Bolton also in the relegation zone. But Bury are yet to play because they're going to get relegated anyway, but they're not going to be able to play until like at least the third game of their season. Then in the Championship, Sheffield Wednesday top of the league, Wigan second, Charlton third, QPR fourth, Swansea fifth, Barnsley sixth. And then in the relegation zone we have Fulham, Preston and Reading. So that is going to end this live stream. In 2 minutes I'm going to start another one for not Barnsley, but it's Fulham. Nottingham Forest versus West Brom.